go. Check. Okay. Where's my... Interesting. Okay. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. We're moving on. All right. Let's get everything up and running here. Hope you all had a good weekend. Let's take a look-see here. Oh. Sorry, I'm laughing at my own thumbnail. Sometimes I do things for me, and that's definitely one of them. Jorb, what's going on? Welcome in. Good to see you. So what a week this weekend was. Holy cow. We have a lot to talk about. A lot to talk about. And I figured I haven't streamed in a little while. So I should do that, and I should talk to you guys. So thought it'd be fun. Yeah, let me make sure everything's set up properly on the Twitch end and give it a couple minutes, and then we'll get started. Just looking through my inbox and Gmail and saw that you just went live, so I decided to see what's up. Oh, it's good to hear, man. It's good to see you. Thanks for stopping in. I hope you're doing well. All right. All right, we're set up over there. Should be set up over here. All right. I think we're about ready. Definitely been an interesting weekend. Yeah. Yeah. I wanted to get my thoughts out here. I'm going to do a video tomorrow. So after this live stream, I'm going to work on a video for tomorrow. But I wanted to make sure I didn't miss any comments or make sure I didn't miss any opinions for it. I wanted to do something a little bit more all-encompassing. And it's good to relay that off the community and talk to you guys and see if there's anything that I'm missing, because it's always nice to, you know, recenter yourself. So yeah, that's what we're going to do. How was your guys' weekend? How did everybody enjoy their weekend? For me, I had a great time. I went to the Renaissance Festival today, and here I posted a picture earlier. Let me go back and find it. It is hours back. It might take a little while. Hold on. Yeah, I think where's image? Do I really have to scroll? I do have to scroll. Sometimes PC Discord doesn't work properly, so I can't like search my name and search for images, and then I have to scroll back into chat, which has been very lively today. Okay, where are we at? We're at 4 o'clock. Oh my goodness. But yeah, so I went to the Renaissance Festival today. I brought the kids. They've always enjoyed it. They have a mermaid section there, and so the girls like the mermaid. Today was fairy day, and so they dressed up. They put on butterfly wings, and they got a crown, and they walked around and dressed up and got to do kid things. And so it was a good thing for them. And then they have one thing at the Renaissance Festival that I always get, and I'm going to I don't care if you guys dislike this. This is my wheelhouse. So, all right, 1 second. How zoomed in is this going to be? Oh yes, really zoomed in. Excellent. So yeah, so this is what I got. So they do full leg turkey legs at the Renaissance Festival, and I get one every single time I go. I don't care. I don't care if you guys think this looks like something else. This is a turkey leg. This is grilled to perfection, and it is magnificent. This one specifically is gone. Like I ate this whole thing. So, but yeah, I had a good day. I had a very good day. All right. Had a pretty good weekend. It's good to hear, Jorb. Turkey legs? Oh, yeah. With friends Friday and had to work Saturday too. Oh, okay. Okay. Well, at least you're relaxing on a Sunday. Just watching your video while doing the dishes. Appreciate the unbiased info. Still don't really understand how the phases work, though. Well, we could talk about that, Yellish. We could talk about that today, too. As long as it's not your finger, we're good. That's... Penumbra, what's going on? Good to see you. All right. I think I have distracted long enough. Let's go through where we have been. And for those of you guys that haven't watched the video, I did one earlier today, but for those of you guys that don't know, Ashes of Creation did a Q&A live stream on Friday. And so long story short, last month in July, they were supposed to announce the Alpha 2 date, and they couldn't do that. They didn't get it done in time. And so they said, hey, we're gonna, in a couple weeks, we're gonna be able to announce the date. And while we do that, we will also have an Alpha 2 AMA. And so they had it on Reddit where you got to ask them a bunch of questions and they answered them. And overall, I would say that the AMA was a mixed review. I thought it was fine. I thought there was a lot of really good information, but there was a few things that they revealed that, you know, the best way to put it is it's not what any of us were expecting, I guess. And so a lot of other things happened. There's trying to figure out the best way to put this. So this is from my personal interpretation. Alpha 2 has been broadcasted as a perpetual alpha, always going to be on, always going to exist. And for the first 2 months, it's only going to be 3 days. Now, personally for me, I don't think that's that big of a deal. Like you got to get everything up and running. It clearly looks like they're a little bit behind in development. I'm fine with that. Like I really am. I'm not mad about it. But if other people are annoyed with that because they were told perpetual alpha and they were basing their Alpha 2 time off this and they go into Alpha 2 and the first 2 months are 3 days, I understand that perspective. I understand where you're coming from. I'm not going to, you know, like I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, you got to deal with it, because I assumed the same thing. I assumed it was also going to be a perpetual alpha. It's just whether or not you're okay with that, in my opinion. And so that happened. And then, you know, December is the 5-day. And then they also made the announcement that for the Alpha 2 keys, which is what the video today was. So I talked about that. And I looked at it and hold on. I guess I want some posterity here. So a lot of a lot of misinformation as well, apparently. Yeah, there was a lot of stuff going on. TGF Tavern, what's going on? Did I see the news update? What are you talking about? Which was okay? So I've been gone most of the weekend, and I came back to a bunch of stuff, and I'm not sure what I've missed and what I haven't missed. So yeah, I have not. If you have something, link it to me. Okay. So anyways, let's talk before we get that link. Let's talk a little bit about the price for Alpha 2. And I've said this for a while, and I have proof here, guys. So I do goof around a lot in the Discord, but I also tell my opinions sometimes too. And so I looked up my name over here, and you look over here on the side. I've been of the belief that it's going to be around $60 for Alpha 2 keys. For Alpha 2 only, I think it's going to be around $60, under 100, maybe slightly marked up from 60 to make sure Alpha 2 buyers don't feel cheated. And I wrote this back on July 29th. I've gone back and forth on this myself, and after reading what was written on keys, I changed my opinion because I forgot they said the open keys up in the future. I look at my payment as a thing I wanted to do at the time to support a company. I want to make and see a good product. This is just my opinion on my investment. As long as the Alpha 2 access is somewhere around the $60 or more with the price coinciding with what was previously been offered, I'm personally fine with it. So my belief is it was going to be somewhere around $60 because that's how it's lined up with past pricings. And so I've always been of the belief it's going to be somewhere around there. And so when it came out to $120, my personal belief was, okay, I don't know if I personally would invest, like if I didn't have my key, would I purchase this? And I don't think I would. I don't, for just Alpha 2, I would not pay $120. I don't think it's necessarily worth it. And so, but that's the thing is that's all of our different opinions, right? We all have different viewpoints on what we get out of it. We all have different amounts of money coming in, and 60 was low. I was at 80 myself. I was fine with 82. I was very surprised at 120. 120 was double what I was expecting. And so that was where I was coming from. And so I was like, okay, well, I mean, they clearly have a bunch of people asking. It's what it is. And so the price came out that it was $120, and people reacted the way that they reacted. And some of it is justified criticism. We will absolutely get to the justified criticism as well. Some of it, in my opinion, was unjustified because we've already seen this happen, right? People are very polarized in what they want out of an alpha and what they're hoping to get out of an alpha. And so for some people, even paying $5 or $10 is antithetical. It's against what they believe an alpha should be. They believe that an alpha, if you're going to go in and test and provide feedback, it should be provided free by the game. And so all those people that believe that, and in the MMORPG space, that is a lot of players. Any box cost that you provide for Alpha 2 is going to get an immediate no. And so a lot of the people that are upset about 120, they would be just as upset about 60. Hear me out. Like, I'm going to provide an example. $60 for Alpha 2. You really want us to pay box cost for a game that's pre-Alpha 2, that is not early access, that is not an early access game. You want us to test for you for $60 for a full box cost game? Why would we do that? I think there are a lot of people that fit into that bucket to where they believe that no matter what monetary amount there is, they're never going to pay for it. And that's fine. That's more than okay. But in this specific situation, you're going to get that feedback from those people regardless. Okay. And so we just, in this situation, you have to just ignore their negative feedback because they're always going to be mad about monetary value. Now, why are they even charging for Alpha 2 to begin with? Well, they've said it before, but back during the Kickstarter days when they incorporated keys and they had people buy keys in order to fund the game, to help fund the game initially, they came out with starter packs and they came out with bundles. And because of that, they want to make sure that whether you guys agree with it or not, if you guys put yourself in the eyes of a developer, if you were funding a company and you were starting from scratch and you had a bunch of founders come in and they donated money to you and they helped you get your company off the ground and get running, you would want to make sure as a good business owner to do right by them. And so whether you agree or not with the prices, as long as the prices are close, in my opinion, to whatever the box cost price is there, I think it's fine. I think it's more than okay. And so I'm not saying it's a good deal. I'm not trying to say like, oh yeah, this is a value or anything like that. It's what you value. And so what we value as individuals is all completely different. But it has to call, like, from an Intrepid perspective, to not piss off like your most diehard supporters, 100,000 plus people that are already bought in Alpha 2. You have to charge something in order to not deter your biggest fans, basically. And so the question is what is that price going to be? And clearly 120 was too high with the backlash. And I think with the betas included and with the 1 month as well, I think it's a lot more in line. I think it's a lot closer to what it should be. Oh, okay. The roadmap I was just looking for this, Chibi. Thank you so much. By the way, guys, if you guys don't know who Chibi Brie is in TGF Tavern, you should go check them out. They're fantastic. That's all I have to say. I'm not going to say anymore. They're fantastic. So you should go check them out. Let's catch up with chat real quick. 100 isn't that far off. 120 is not worth buying as the game will be shit at start. Yes. Yeah, that's how I was looking at it, Penumbra. Like, I would not buy the 120 to do the testing the way it was. I would pay the one. If I was going to get it, I would pay the 100 to get the full Alpha 2 experience. So 120 is for Alpha 2 in the betas. That's what they said today. I'm going to pull. I'm sorry, Yolish. I'll pull that up now. That's my bad. I wanted to get through the beginning. We're working our way through it. Alpha 2 testing must be restricted by a paywall to prevent trolls and others from turning AOC into New World, a game that wasn't going to be. Yes, that's a good point, Penumbra. We'll talk about that also. Reddit is a shit show over this. It's going to be, Maz. It absolutely will be. And there is very viable, legit criticism that I wanted to talk about. And there is some stuff that I think is not worth talking about. And the thing is it doesn't matter. Like, every game gets criticism. Every big game gets criticism. Like, at some point we need to filter out what the good criticism is and what the bad criticism is, and just acknowledge it. In fact, they didn't say it included the betas on the stream and did not help. Yeah, well, they said, Margaret on stream said that they may open up betas later on. And so that's why in the first video that I did, I came out and said that it was only Alpha 2, because that's what I was inclined to believe it was from the live stream that I watched. So I bought into the beta before they stopped so I could upgrade to the Alpha. I'm paying $175 tomorrow to upgrade to the Alpha Access. And congratulations, Eric. Congrats. I think you're going to have fun. 1 month of game time, 15 in-game credits, and beta access. Yeah, that's great. So yeah, where do we leave off at? So I have the roadmap and AMA from Chibi. Thank you so much, Chibi. We will talk about this. But yeah, so that's where the entire complaint over the box cost price came in. Now, to me, I did a video on this a while back. I did a video on this a couple months ago. I reviewed PAX Day. And PAX Day initially started off for free, and then they decided to charge more for it later to have you to be able to purchase the Alpha. And for me, there wasn't enough improved from the first time I tried it to the second time to where I felt like it warranted wanting to pay $50 for. But that's me. But I didn't sit here and I didn't call PAX Day a scam. I didn't say it was a terrible. I thought it was rough. I don't like the direction. I think there's a lot of red flags. I think that they're years away, but I'm not going to sit here and say, oh yeah, they're clearly scamming people. Everything's questionable. So my perspective on it is PAX Day, and maybe I said this differently, but my opinion on PAX Day is it was just rough. And I think the same thing can apply to Ashes of Creation. If you look at Ashes of Creation and you watch their live streams and you don't think it's worth buying in, you shouldn't buy in. Like you shouldn't get suckered in. You shouldn't feel like you're going to miss out on an alpha. There's multiple betas. This game is years away from coming out. You have a long time. You have a long time before FOMO kicks in. And so that's the thing that I keep trying to tell people is like if you want to play this game, you pay $15 on day one, right? Like that's all you have to do is pay $15. And so if you're worried that this game is a scam, if you and that's okay. It's okay to believe this. If you believe that Ashes of Creation is a scam and you believe that all games like this are a scam, then just wait. Just wait. You don't have to worry about it. But yeah, going off of what Penumbra said earlier about the purchase, I forget what study it was, but there was a study that I read a long time ago, and it basically talked about the difficulty or effort to do something. And with that difficulty or effort, you value it more. And I can't remember what it was, but the point is you see a lot of people that are former Navy SEALs, former Army Rangers, a lot of people that have done some really hardcore shit, and they hold a high regard for the SEALs, for the Rangers. It is, it's a fraternity of men, essentially. And so you look at these things, and the more you invest into something, the more you're willing to hold on to it. And this is different because this is monetary, but the people that are going to pay $500, $250, X amount of dollars into test and alpha are more likely to give you good feedback, because if they're going to make an investment into the game, they must be following along. They must know what the core tenets are. They must know what the core values of the game are. They must know exactly the direction the game is trying to go. And if you're going to pay in, you're going to be like, I'm going to get my money's worth for this. You're going to feel like you need to get your money's worth. So you're going to play it. You're going to test, and you're going to provide feedback, more so than somebody that would just hop into a free alpha. A perfect example is myself. I played PAX Day. It was free. I provided zero feedback. I just tried it. I was there to try it. I didn't know anything about like the core value of the game. I tried to look up those things. I didn't really see anything. And so I didn't really know what it was, and I couldn't provide feedback in that regard. So it was like, I wanted to do a comment like, there's no NPCs, there's no like quests, there's nothing to really do. It's just a sandbox. And then other people told me, they're like, yeah, this is a sandbox game. And I'm like, okay, well, I don't know what to say then. Like, this is a big sandbox where we're chopping down trees. Like, it's just not, I didn't enjoy it, is what I'm trying to say. But I didn't provide that feedback either. I know when I get an Alpha 2 for Ashes, because I bought in, because I'm invested in talking about this and trying to do right by the game and have it go in a good direction, I'm going to be providing feedback on my thoughts through YouTube videos, through the bug report system, through the feedback system. That's stuff that I'm very looking forward to. And so for me personally, there's a big difference for me looking at an alpha for free and me looking at an alpha for X amount of dollars, whatever that is, because whatever amount you invest, you're going to hold a higher value of it. Same idea as buying a new car, right? You buy a new car. How likely are you going to park really close next to somebody in a grocery store, right? You're not going to park right next to them because you don't want to get your car dinged up. Now, if you're driving like a 1990 Geo Metro, you're not going to give a shit. You're just going to park the closest spot up and just be like, okay, well, when this car dies, it dies. Like, I don't care. Like, your value based off of the car value that you have is different. And so generally, of course, not everybody really cares, but yeah. That's a very good point by Penumbra. That's another thing that Steven has looked at as well, but it also reinforces the fact that, you know, he gets to charge for these things. It is a very exciting game. People are excited about getting in there to test it, and they want to test it, and so he can charge for it. That is one of the benefits that Steven and Intrepid do have as well. And so that's where a lot of the complaints have come so far from the outside that I have seen. And we will talk about those, and then we'll talk about like my personal ones with what has happened so far, and, you know, because it's me, like why I think that these are more important, but we'll do that. We're under this assumption for a bit. Yeah. Do you think they didn't plan on including betas, then change it after stream for some reaction? I don't want to put words in people's mouths. I will say this. I think that Intrepid has been awesome since I've been following them for the last 4 years. I think they've been very upfront and honest with their open development. I cannot give them enough positive reviews, but in that live stream, they did specifically say that those keys were for Alpha 2, and they may open up keys for betas later on. Now, was there confusion there? Was that something that wasn't agreed upon that they didn't know about, or did they change it later? I don't know. That's something I can't comment on, but what I can say is Friday, they said it was Alpha 2 keys, no betas specifically, and then they changed it to involve the betas. And so, yeah. All right, let's look. Plenty of content creators to watch. Yeah. It's not okay to say it's a scam. Show me proof it's a scam, and then I'll buy you a car. Sure, absolutely. Do I have a guild for Alpha 2? We will be announcing that. Nice and I will be announcing that here shortly. Spitting facts, I don't want all these filthy casuals in Alpha 2. Well, I do think you will get better testing. I do think you'll get better testing because, frankly, like Penumbra, I'm literally going to steal this from you, Penumbra. But when you look at alpha testing for New World, they got a bunch of people in there that didn't want to play the game that was designed. They wanted to play another type of game, and it worked. It worked for New World. It sincerely did. And so I'm guessing Steven saw that, and Steven was like, you know, this is just more inclination to charge something so that people that aren't interested in this game aren't going to jump in and try to change it. We're not going to get those types of people. This is the game I want to make. This is the frame rate. This is the framework of the game that I want to make. We're going this way. If you don't like it, then don't follow. And so I do agree with that. I do agree that that is definitely a thing that has happened. That's happened multiple times across other games. I think what Steven and Intrepid are trying to do is they're trying to resonate. They're trying to say, hey, this is the direction of our game, provide feedback within the framework of the game. And people that follow for a while are going to do that. And people that haven't followed for a while, they're not going to be as good at that because they don't really know what the framework is. And it's no disrespect. Like, we all are interested in different things at a different level, of course. I've read the wiki back to front. Don't want some Asmongold fanboy complaining about getting killed in the open world. Yes, very true. Just remember they said, or as supplies last, I wonder how many keys they're going to sell. I have no idea. I'm very curious about that also. The keys have value because we're willing to pay for them and we value them. Exactly. All right. Else, I don't know if you talked about it, but when the year starts, October or May for the year to start? I don't know. I don't know. Hamhog. Good to see you, by the way. I will message Steven in the Reddit thing tonight. I will ask and see if he responds. Simply going to correlate people paying that much money for Alpha 2 are going to get better feedback. I think so. You're gonna buy your dad a key. He got you an MMORPGs. Nice. Nice. All right. So thank you to Chibi for posting this. Let's go through what the information is now. So anybody that's confused, like Yellish, that's not exactly sure what's going on, we can provide that. And if I mess anything up, you guys let me know. Okay. So this was posted yesterday, August 17th, 2024. This is their roadmap and AMA. And it says, on Friday, August 16th, we broadcasted our Ashes of Creation Alpha 2 roadmap and AMA live on Twitch with Steven Sharif and Margaret Crone, where we provided an in-depth overview of our Alpha 2 plans. Afterwards, we went over a plethora of questions the community provided. Alpha 2 roadmap and AMA. For ease, we also provided the images below from the broadcast with additional clarifications. Some of the images have adjustments based on feedback and questions that came up during and after the live stream. Note, the below information applies to Alpha 2, and things will change as we hit into Beta 1, Beta 2, and launch. As we progress into these other development phases, you can expect that we will provide further information regarding the specifics of those. So, is this going to be the full live stream? It looks like it. Okay. Yes, it is. So this is the full live stream with timestamps. Intrepid Studios' goals for Alpha 2. So they want scalability, stability, fun, and always engage with our community. Here, let me provide a link in the chat for you guys. I'm sorry. I should be a better streamer than this. That's my bad. So if you guys want to read it and follow along, you're more than welcome to. I don't know if I could play another 2 years of ESO. I need to get my hands on AOC. I hear you. I hear you. There's the link. So we got the Alpha 2 roadmap. And so Yellish, here are the phases. So we got phase 1. It starts October 25th. And so they're looking at scalability, stability, performance, and progression. So from my layman's non-developer terms, they're testing the servers for phase 1. They're trying to get as many people in as possible to see if shit crashes. So we're going to come in Friday through Sunday, and we're going to test to make sure to see how the game crashes. And so they're going to have 3,000 person servers where we come in, we fuck around, we do whatever they want us to do. And then they'll have the 4 days, Monday through Thursday, in order to fix and adjust things. And so that's how they're going to go about doing this. And so phase 1, I think, is literally just making sure that the server will not crash with what they have on there. Like making sure all the bugs are taken care of, all the kinks are worked out, everything's working properly. So that's what phase 1 is going to be until December 20th. And then test goals, node advancement, economy testing, and vassling. So on December 20th, a fantastic Christmas present, if I do say so myself, we will have 5-day availability for phase 2, which is literally just around economy and node testing. And so that's what will happen then. So from from October 25th to December 20th, we will be doing server stress testing, essentially. Phase 2 is when we start working on nodes, economy, and then vassling of nodes, essentially. And then when we go into phase 3, the expanded content. And there's other images below, but as we get into these different phases, it's just different things that they're going to test for us along the way. Does that make sense? These things are subject to change. Absolutely. I have to find a game because one looks like it's 2 to 3 years away. I'm not gonna lie. I will be testing New World. You guys can laugh at me all you want. The open zone free for all area. I will play it for a little bit. Okay, I'm guilty. All of us can enjoy some games that are, you know, haven't been doing so hot lately. I feel dirty just saying it, but I don't care. I don't care. I'm very excited for that specific thing. Excited for the phase 2 of Alpha 2 for the rogue archetype, man. Gonna test that like crazy. Oh yeah, me too. Absolutely me too. I'm a rogue main. Can't wait for rogue, but I will find it hard to switch from bard, I think. Yeah, I'm normally a rogue main. Oh my goodness. I am so sorry, guys. No, I have it up. That's my bad. For whatever reason, I thought, never mind. We have a slight delay. So yeah. So anyways, so yeah, that's how the phases are going to work. And then we have cadence of content updates, and then what you can expect and what we need. So yeah, they want testing on basically everything. Rough coming from console ESO. Tell me about it. Tell me about it. All right. So here's Alpha 1 and what they did versus Alpha 2. We don't really need to look through these things. That's not important for this live stream, in my opinion. You guys can feel free to go and look at this if you want. Alpha 2 phases. Features and content listed in each of the phases are not all planned at the start of each phase. You can expect that when these phases end, the features and content will be delivered prior moving on to the next phase. So the goal for phase 1 is to have all these things done before December 20th. So everything that they have here for phase 1, they want to get done before December 20th. It doesn't mean it's going to happen on October 25th, but at some point during that time period. As stated many times, things are subject to change, and we may shift things into different phases, but we'll keep you all informed as those changes occur. Alpha 2, Phase 3 is expected to last at least 1 year. This is, of course, subject to change due to active development. They said, okay, I'm just going to say this because I watched the live stream twice. They were not going to give this date. And we had a discussion. Galwood, I know you were there. I saw you in chat earlier. We had a discussion. And I want to say, Viral has beaten me like 9 times out of 10. Okay? Like he's gotten 9 things right to my 1, but this is my 1. And I'm going to lord it over him with an iron. No, I'm just kidding. I did say, they did say that they might mention this, and then they didn't on the live stream, and then they did here. And so, yeah, phase 3 is expected to last at least 1 year. So from May of 2025 to May of 2026 is when how long they expect Alpha 2 to last at least, which means that if phase 3 is the only phase they're planning on completing, that they are thinking, and this is me saying this is not them, and things are subject to change and all these other sorts of things. And if I'm wrong, this is how I'm interpreting it. May of 2026 at the earliest is when the game will release. Expecting the last 1 year is a non-answer. Well, yeah, and that's the other thing too is I wanted the number, right? Because we've been talking for a while about how long we think Alpha 2 is going to last. Some people think a year. Some people think 2 years. I thought 2 to 3. So my belief has been, if all goes well, it's going to take 2 years. If it doesn't go well and we hit hiccups in the road and stuff like that, it's going to take 3 years. Some people believe it's going to be 3 years or 4 years or 5 years. And it's okay. Like this game doesn't have to come out in May of 2026 at all. But like having an idea of like how long you're expecting the alpha to last, I think that's okay with sharing. Like, I don't think that this hurts anything by saying like, yeah, like if all goes well and we test everything right and we're able to fix everything properly, like this is how long we think it's going to take us. I think that's okay. But, maybe I'm wrong, and maybe I'm just like opening myself up to getting absolutely destroyed if I was a developer, but I think that's okay with saying. Betas are likely to take longer than expected. Yeah, well, and they've said that the betas are going to run concurrently with Alpha 2. So I would assume that our first beta might be like next winter. I mean, would it be crazy to say that 14 months from now, 15 months from now, we get our first beta? After they've tested, like if they go through all their content cadence and they have the summoner released and they have these and then they have the initial augments released and they have that stuff and that goes into August, they obviously everything's subject to change. I'm going to keep making this joke, of course, but I don't know if that's too crazy. No way, May 2026. It's likely a 2027 release. 2027's been the year that I predicted, JB Johnson. Okay. So like I'm going to be sarcastic on this stream and joke around with you guys because I haven't talked to you guys in a while. I haven't had my own live stream and I had a good weekend. And so I'm just going to goof around and be sarcastic. But my sincere belief or guess is I do think 2027 is when the game releases. So I do agree with you. But some people think it's before 2029, 2030. It's like having an idea for Alpha 2, I think is good. It comes out in 2026. We're getting 4 races, 3 biomes, and level 30. Fair. But the confusion is Steven replied to Asmongold saying Alpha 2 is only going to be a year, but Phase 3 is 1 year. Yeah, that's why it's so weird. That was the confusion when I had posted my video earlier today as well. They said beta is going to run the same time as Alpha 2. Yeah, they said, I'm almost certain that they said even on the live stream, it's been said a few times that the betas are going to run in parallel with the alpha. I'm pretty sure it'll be in here, but we'll get to it. It is smart to say 1 year so no one thinks this is a short testing phase, but it could take 10 years and they didn't mislead anyone. Yeah. Yep. I mean, it's that too. Betas are said to only be a few weeks, but I think they are more like a couple months, possibly. You think earliest beta is May 2026? Okay. Steven did fix that Asmongold comment and added at least. Okay, good. Because that was very confusing. I've heard the alphas will go back to NDA after the beta's release. Not sure on this though. Sure. Yeah, well, let's read the rest of this and let's see if there's anything we're missing. Then we have phase 2. And so this is all the phase 1 stuff. It's very zoomed out. I apologize. Okay, why is this? 1 second. Let's make sure I'm getting what I'm supposed to be getting here. Yeah, okay. It's so weird. So my overlay, what it says I'm streaming is not showing what's actually on my screen. And so I got confused for a minute. I'm like, what the hell is happening? Okay. Okay, yeah, we're all on the same page here. Get it, page. I'm so sorry, guys. I'm a father. You guys should have known this before you signed up. So anyway, we're moving on. Oh my God, that was awful. Phase 2. So here's phase 2. Sand Squall Desert, Vandegar Tropics, new nodes, new races, new archetype. We get the Rogue during phase 2. So great Christmas present, hopefully. Obviously, it'll probably happen after, but one can hope that the Rogue releases right away. And then all the content, everything. And then we have phase 3. This is the May stuff. So Turquoise Sea, the Anvils, new nodes, new races, Summoner, Archetype, new weapons, new systems to test, and all that. And so here is the Alpha 2 access as it stands right now. First wave bundle, $120. You now get Alpha 2 access on Friday, November 8th, 2024, continuing to all subsequent test phases. Beta 1 access, Beta 2 access, 1 month subscription, $15 value, $15 in Embers, and the purchase ends Friday, November 1st, 2024. Second wave, Alpha 2 access on Friday, December 20th, continuing all subsequent test phases. Beta 1 access, Beta 2 access, 1 month subscription, $15 in embers. Purchase ends Friday, December 13th. Guys, I'm just going to tell you right now, Friday, December 13th is a great day. This is a fantastic day. Third wave, bundle, Alpha 2 access, Thursday, May 1st. Beta 1 access, Beta 2 access, 1 month subscription, $15 in embers. Tell me if you haven't heard this before. Purchase ends Tuesday, May 26th. And so they're changing the varying amounts of the price, but now you get Alpha 2, Beta 1, and Beta 2. Now, to me, this looks a lot more in line with what the other bundles are. And in my opinion, I did watch the Asmongold video today, and we can pull that up if you guys want, and we can look through a couple things. I agreed with most of what he said. But what I disagreed with was offering the Alpha 2 for free. I don't think it's good for Intrepid to do that, considering the 100,000 people that have already signed up to pay for it. Like that, I think you're essentially spitting in their face if you do that. And so I don't think that's good business. I think you have to charge something of value relative to the previous bundles. I don't understand why they didn't just post the bundles again. Like that's what I don't understand, because then you would have just saved it and been like, yeah, we brought the bundles back online. These are what the bundles always have been. When they changed it to these keys to provide different values, that's when I think a lot of the issues kind of popped up. And it would have popped up regardless, I think. But that's what I personally don't understand, is why they just didn't go to the bundles. But regardless, these are new bundles, and these are what they are. And I think these are more in line with like what I purchased and what the Alpha 1 people purchased and whatnot. I think these are closer in line. The Dr. Burns video was good. It was very good. Thanks to your glorious feedback, we have made some adjustments, as you can see in the image above. We appreciate our community beyond words, and we want you to know that we hear you. So here's the other thing too, guys. These are supposed to go out on Wednesday, right? They took care of it before Wednesday. Not a single key was sold with the wrong alpha. And so, yes, this was a controversy about what the price was and about what people were getting and everything. There's no denying it. Like I think these are more in line with what they should have been. But they adjusted it immediately. I think this is worth commending, regardless of how you feel about other things. First, second, and third wave have now been changed to bundles, which include Alpha 2, Beta 1, Beta 2 access, 1 month subscription. As noted above in this article, Alpha 2 will turn into an NDA test realm, which will get access to content prior to the beta and launch realms. This test realm will continue post-launch. Purchasing into a phase grants access to subsequent phases. Alpha 2 Phase 3 is expected to last at least 1 year. This is, of course, subject to change due to the active development. Alpha 2 does not have a subscription cost. When the game launches, Ashes of Creation will not have a box price. The cost behind Alpha 2 access accounts for realm and CDN costs associated with live service product. While this is not a finished game, it will be live service that we will be updating on a 6-week basis as we build out the rest of the game's content and features. We'd like to reiterate, please do not consider purchasing test access to Ashes of Creation if your intent is to play a completed game. Please wait until launch. This is not a typical approach of development and marketing. It will be rough, buggy, and require dedicated players who are willing to be testers. We have our internal QA teams along with externally contracted QA testers that are testing right now every day. So you got people testing every day. We understand that this approach is not everyone's cup of tea, but this is the path we are taking because we believe it will yield a better finished product. We all have experienced enough MMOs that have not hit the mark when it comes to launching when they are truly ready. I can't emphasize this enough. And we'll dive into that in a moment. We appreciate everyone's feedback, understanding, and support along our development journey. We can't wait for some of you to join us on Vera. So that's the new price changes. I think the new pricing, I think more or less, I suppose we could do a poll real quick if you guys wanted. But I think these new prices are a lot more in line with what they should have been. I do like where they're at now. I feel like I wasn't going to tell my friends about the keys opening up because it's like I don't think you guys should get these. But now I think this is a lot more fair relative to what other people purchased. I think everybody should be happy. Previous purchasers and people investing that were going to invest get more of what they should have, in my opinion. And so I think this is a good change. I think this is great that Intrepid listened to feedback on this. And so I think this is good. I do think this is a good adjustment. What do we want to talk about now? Because there's a few things I want to bounce off of, and I'm not sure which one first. Let us take a look-see here. Six, what's up, dude? Good to see you. So, should we dive into the smoke right away? Should we just jump into the smoke immediately? I think we're gonna do that. Arctic, what's going on? I think free key should come with beta access too, just nothing else. Sure. Okay, let's make sure. We will watch some of Asmongold's video because there's a few things in here that I thought were very good. I thought they were worth discussing. Let's talk about how Asmongold's followers are going to die like PvP flies. Yeah, we're going to talk about that too. Like I told you, I know we will not pull any punches here. The dick eating? Yes. Yes, we're going to talk about this. Dr. Burns' video is better. It was very good. But let's just watch some of this. I will say, guys, this isn't a live react or anything. I already watched this. I'm working on a video, but I wanted to get feedback from you guys as well. Back in Eldon for the time being, just checking on Ash's hopium.
And $20 for alpha access. Now, there's been a lot of people that are upset about this and talking about it. So what I figured I would do is I would just pull up the actual image and talk about it and look about it myself, rather than letting somebody else tell the story. You guys ready? Let's take a look at it.
A thing that you guys keep asking us for.
This is the original text.
Oh my God, we have got ticket after ticket after ticket. We have got a lot of commentary about this.
Oh my goodness, I'm messing up.
I know that we have made statements in the past about how we're going to approach releasing that.
Okay, so this is everything we've seen.
Brokey dead. Value proposition with the $120 is access to being able to play the game. And so it's like, if you tell people this isn't what it's for, people are still going to buy it for that reason. And it's an instance of like where it's like the customer is always right, where you can tell the customer this isn't what you're buying, but everybody is going to think that that's why they're buying it. That's just what's going to happen. Like it's really a communication issue. And the problem is that with like this already kind of happened with like the $500 Alpha 1 test. And you guys remember this, where they let people into the Alpha 1 that were that had donated $500 or more to the project. So people turn that into, you have to spend $500 to access the alpha. I think the entire situation.
So we all follow this game differently. We can agree that where he's coming from here is wrong, right? This wasn't an Alpha 1 specific thing. This was a bundle stating that if you bought this bundle, you got access to Alpha 1. There's a difference between people that donated $500 and they decided, hey, we're going to go forward with this. And then from day one saying, hey, if you buy this bundle, you get access to this, this, and this. There's a big difference here with what he's implying and what's actually happened. But yeah, so that's, I will say, I do agree with a lot of what Asmongold said in this video, but there's a few things that I thought he got pretty wrong, in my opinion. I just disagree as it pertains to this specific product. And so we'll speed up a little bit.
2 reasons. 1, we need additional testers as we move forward in these phases. And why do we need that? Because ultimately what happens in every MMORPG is you have some sect of retention within cohorts. And that retention is always going to be at a downward angle from your starting user cohort. So it's important to keep in mind that as phase 1 goes through, and as phase 2 goes through, and as phase 3 goes through, we will be introducing new users and new testers who do want to participate in testing an alpha, not looking at it from a gameplay being a fun and completed game perspective, but who want to help shape the form of what Ashes of Creation intends to be by offering good and actionable feedback, by creating bug reports for us, by crashing and being a test dummy for us, right? Those are
I think that it would go a lot better if Steven said, listen, guys, making this game's expensive and we need some money. Like, we got to make some money. This shit's expensive. We're trying to make this happen. We got to get some money out of this. That's the way it is. Like, because, like, effectively.
I agree with this. I just agree with this. I think how they presented this, I don't want to keep harping on the same thing, but I did agree with Asmongold on this point. I don't know if I'm going to find the exact timestamp, but I'm going to try anyways.
How did you get this job at this investment company? Well, I wake up at 5 in the morning, I do meditations, I work out, and then I, read news, I have a balanced breakfast, and then I do all that before 7 a.m., and then I go into work. And also, my dad owns the company. So, like, real life is kind of unfucking fair, right? Like, it's unfucking fair.
Pockets, thank you for the raid, man. I appreciate it. What's going on, dude? How are you doing, Pockets? I am sorry. I did hear it. I'm doing. Yeah, we're talking about the thing that happened this weekend. Or we're talking about the thing that happened. We're just going through everything. I want to make sure I don't miss anything. But yes, thank you for the raid, Pockets. Appreciate it, man. Trying to find any sort of game to play. I'm doing Dungeon Born right now. The controversy, yeah, a lot of it's ridiculous.
And so people like being able to play MMOs because MMOs effectively turn the power dynamic of real life upside down, where the people that have a lot of time in video games usually don't have a lot of money in real life, generally, right? Because they're not working. And it gives people that are, like young guys in a lot of cases, let's be honest, the ability to compete on what they perceive to be an even playing field, even though it's really not an even playing field. Like if you are a doctor, you're like a resident doctor, you work in an emergency room, you have a insurmountable disadvantage against a 19-year-old stoner that lives with his mom. He will beat.
This is false. Like, I don't agree with this at all. Like, there is a learning curve, and 19-year-olds that are staying at home will reach their learning curve faster, but that doesn't mean that a game that has been out for 6 or 7 years where the cream doesn't rise to the crop. That's absolutely silly. I started New World a year after it came out, and I was getting 1v2s, 1v3s, 1v4s. And these people, a lot of these people, had a year's worth of experience on me. And I am a dad with 2 kids and a job and 2 cats and all these freaking things going on, right? You get a learning curve, and some people, they don't care to learn that much. Like, I'll play Chivalry, and Chivalry is just my fucking hack and slash game. I just want to hop in, and I want to swing a sword. I know it's more technical than that. I don't care. I just hop in, and I'm just swinging. I'm trying to chop arms off. I'm trying to chop heads off. I don't care. Somebody is losing a body part when I play Chivalry, and it's probably me. That's how I approach Chivalry. Other games, I'm a lot more serious. Other games, I'm a lot more technical about. But this entire belief that based off of your job means that you can't be good at video games is silly. Like, that's absolutely silly.
Beat you in a video game every single time because of the way that your lives are structured, and that's it. That's all there is to it. So it's not that MMOs are an even playing field, but in a certain way they are. It's the amount of time that you put into the game is directly proportional to what you get out of the game, even though some people have an abundance of time in a way that other people do not. And this is something that a lot of people like to have MMOs for. This is the value that people have in MMOs.
Okay. We're skipping past this.
To participate might be encouraged to then purchase a key,
that wasn't
not because
anything else
they're purchasing
there.
access to early access.
I also want to make a clarification. If you purchase,
Well, they are purchasing access to early. They are purchasing access to early access. They are, because like it's literally a key. It's shaped like a key. It has an A.
You get good or you don't. Exactly. Think about it. Why would they forget to include the beta keys without full? Yeah, I do agree. Meanwhile, this chat is all true and yep and whatever else he thinks. Yeah, we're gonna get into that too, Penumbra. I promise. We're definitely gonna talk about the dick eaters. So yeah, we're gonna talk about that. But yeah, let's continue on down and talk about a few things because there's a lot of stuff here that I did agree with Asmongold on.
A for Ashes,
and the dick eaters
and
part.
it's an invite. Like, what do you mean?
First wave, you get access to Alpha 2 also, starting on that date, and you get...
I think that, again, like, do you remember what I said before about, like, the reason why we haven't done Pixel Pitch is we need a sponsor for Pixel Pitch? Like, we need to make some fucking money with the show. I think that people appreciate that type of honesty.
They do.
And in a world
100%.
where inauthenticity has become the norm, I think that there's a growing resentment for it. And I actually think that the problem isn't actually with the business plan. It's with the presentation of the business plan. That's my perspective.
Second, you're gonna play Alpha 2 for the rest of Alpha 2. If you get second wave, you're gonna have that date you start, and you get to play all the way to. You don't have to buy all 3 keys. That is not how it works. Just buy one key, and you get access to Alpha 2. So that is how it works. I just want to make that very clear. You don't buy all 3. You just buy one. And
it's insane that you have to make 2 separate purchases for an alpha and a beta.
I agree with this. I thought that was not good.
It's just access. You're gaining
$0, but they don't want to do that.
There it is.
This is going to be the spiciest of topics when it comes to access to the game, right? And there's not going to be a price that's going to please everybody. I mean, that's just the bottom line.
Well, there is. It's $0, but they don't want to do that.
See, that part, I don't know if you guys heard that. That might have been a little bit quiet on your guys' end, but he said there is a price point at $0 and they don't want to do that. And that's exactly highlighting the point I made in the first part of the stream. There are a lot of people that don't want to invest any money into testing an alpha. $0 is their price point for entry. And there are a lot of people in Asmongold's chat that 100% agree that any dollar more than $0 is too much to pay into an alpha 2. Now, an alpha, I am not going to disagree. We have differing viewpoints on things. I wouldn't buy into most alphas. I like this one. I bought into this one. And so my belief is when I heard this part, I think 0 is a non-option. For Ashes of Creation specifically, offering $0 for Alpha 2 is a non-option for what I said earlier. They've already given out bundles. 100,000 people have already signed up with multiple different bundles, Alpha 1, Alpha 2, the first donors way back during the Kickstarter days. All these people have already bought in. If you really want to piss off your biggest and like strongest following, the 100,000 plus players that have already done this, sure. Give away the alpha for free and see what happens. All of your diehards that have been following live streams, that have been investing time, are going to go, really? You're giving away the alpha for free? Where's my $250? Where's my $500? Where's my $2,000? This is the $0 isn't an option, in my opinion. Unless you want to run a shitty business. If you want to run a shitty business and you want to look at your biggest and most loyal followers and you want to say, you know what, fuck you guys. Sure, you can be like every other MMORPG in the space. You can absolutely do that. I think Steven and Intrepid are trying to do something a little bit different here. And so 0 isn't an option, in my opinion. All right, who's rating now? Holy cow. Jamie, what is going on, Jamie? We are attempting to speak some truth facts over here. Thank you so much for the raid. Annie, good to see you. Welcome in, everybody. Welcome in. Thank you so much, guys. I didn't do it. Okay, so Vertec didn't do it. Who did do it? Who did do it? Jay Kush, what's up, man? Good to see you guys. Arthas Dawnbreaker. Lude Lloyd, what's up, dude? Hope you guys are doing well. So, it was me. Oh, appreciate you, man. Thank you. Obviously, Jamie. Well, guys, so we're talking about this weekend. For those of you guys that don't know, I was basically gone all weekend. And when I came back and checked in, so many things changed. And we're attempting to do an all-encompassing live stream talking about what happened Friday, what happened Saturday, what happened Sunday. And we're going to go through, we've been going through the drama in order, all the things that have happened in order, and talking about the stuff that yeah, this is worth talking and this is worth complaining about, and stuff where it's like, yeah, this is nonsense from my perspective. And I'm just providing my opinion. You guys can feel free to provide your feedback as well. I'm sure you've already heard this from Annie and Jamie. I'm going to agree with them a lot on things. Maybe we disagree. We'll find out. Thank you, guys. Thank you for the tier 1, Ivy. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. But yeah, so that's what we've been doing. The big one that we've gotten to right now, since right before you guys showed up, Asmongold said this. We're just going to back up a little bit, and we'll start here, and then we'll continue on.
It's not a code key. It's just access. You're gaining access to the game. You're not getting a code or a key that you're giving out to anybody.
And
well, I mean, isn't a code the access to the game? You put in the code, you get access. Maybe I'm misunderstanding.
As Margaret said at the beginning, like, we fully understood.
One of the best spoken Ashes creators right here. Appreciate you, Annie. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
And expected that this is going to be the spiciest of topics when it comes to access to the game, right? And there's not going to be a price that's going to please everybody. I mean, that's just the bottom line.
Well, there is. It's $0, but they don't want to do that.
So that's the point we're at. And a point I made earlier on in the live stream is this entire price point argument was always going to happen. The argument I said right before you guys joined that I'm saying again here is, regardless of the price point for Alpha 2, we were always going to get some people that were going to be against the Alpha 2 price. It was always going to happen. Prices for alphas is a very polarizing thing in the gaming community. And so you have people where even if it's $10, $15, $20, it doesn't matter, it's money. And so as an example I brought up earlier, think about it this way. These keys are $120. If they lowered it and they said it was $60, you would have people, a lot of people, and I think we would have the same amount of outrage where they would go, you really want to charge the cost of a fully boxed game for your Alpha 2 that is not early access, that is pre-testing? So my point is these people that are going to complain about the price point, these specific people, in this specific situation, I think their opinion should be, it just doesn't matter. This is not something that Ashes of Creation is going to do. They are going to charge for Alpha 2. Whether you agree or disagree, they in my opinion, if they want to have good business with their initial followers, they need to make sure that their key prices are in line with previous bundles that they have sold since Kickstarter. And so if you disagree with that, that's fine. I think that's bad business. I think it's a very bad look to want to start a game, start a company, get it up off its feet, and your initial investors spend $2,500, $250, and they do all these things, and then 7 months down the road, you give away an alpha for free when they literally bought the bundles thinking that that's the cost, like they wanted to support your game and they wanted access to these things. I think that's very bad business. And so the point with me about the keys is, what is the proper price? What is the proper price? I don't think 0 is an option, so it's a number higher than 0. For me, Alpha 2 only, I thought it was always going to be in the $60 to $80 range. I thought it was always going to be around there. And now that they have changed these keys to where it's 100 to 120 for Alpha 2, Beta 1, Beta 2 in the first month, I think that's a lot more in line. I think these are in line with what the other bundles are. And I think that's fair to the initial investors. I think that's fair to people buying the keys. I think that's fair to everybody that's actually interested in playing Alpha 2. But yeah, I don't disagree with this point in general. Like, other games do free alpha testing, and I do understand that point. I don't think it applies here. And I think from this perspective is Asmongold just doesn't follow Ashes of Creation like other people do. And that's okay. People who rage are those who play hundreds of games and cannot fathom someone who wants to play just one and are willing to pay for that one game. Yeah. The problem with those who complain don't view it as entertainment. If Alpha 2 lasts 24 months, then it's $5 a month, cheaper than a movie or a streaming service. Yeah. Well, that's the other thing. That's why I looked at buying Alpha 2. I was like, well, it's going to last a year or two. And the bundle I'm getting, it's like $60. Okay, $60 for 24 months. Okay. and plus I get a test, plus I get to provide feedback. Like all this sounded good to me. Adding $15 member value, beta access, and 1 month of sub included has solved the issue. I agree. I do think the price was a little high, but the market makes the decision, right? But I think even regardless of that, people are still going to complain about this because some people just don't want to pay for alphas and betas. So that's my point. There was always going to be this. And I think as a community, we need to embrace some of the criticism. Because if you look at all of the big games that exist, there's always controversy, right? And I'm not saying Ashes of Creation is a big game currently. I think it will be. And I think the better the community has at dealing with these types of criticisms from people that don't follow the space as much, it's only going to make the community better as a whole. And we can just kind of pick things apart. And so overall, I do agree with most of what Asmongold said, but this free point is not something I agree with. I think this is a non-starter.
This is like, it's kind of like how games like gacha games will put like a resin system into the game, so you have to like spend money to like get out of it. Like you've invented this problem because like if somebody didn't know about Monster Hunter, for example, or like Genshin Impact, they could just go and play the game, right? There's no barrier to entry. Like you're creating the barrier to entry.
Absolutely.
So like, what's the logic in if you have new people coming into the game?
Thank you for the follow, Bob.
Then just a second. If you have new people coming into the game, the best way to serve them is to add a $120 barrier to entry. How does that make? I think they really could have. They really could have done a
Josh,
better job with the messaging with this.
And what we've done here is we've approached.
So, not to spoiler here, that's my biggest complaint. We'll get to my complaints about what's happened this weekend. The communication that's happened is my biggest complaint of what's happened with the AMA and what's happened since then. And we'll dive into all that. But I'm going through the other stuff first before we get to me. Because I figure you guys will log off by then because nobody wants to hear what I have to say anyways, right? Like you guys don't want to hear my opinion. You want to hear Asmongold's opinion. You want to hear these other people's opinions and stuff like that. So, but yeah, I think the communication in the last 4 days has not been good. I think it's been pretty bad, to be honest. And I like Intrepid. I'm supporting them. I bought their Alpha 2 key. I'm all in for playing the Alpha 2, but I'm also not going to blindly follow. And I don't think it helps them. I think it's constructive to say that, hey, this messaging in the last 4 days has been all over the place. The messaging in the last month and a half has also been not the same as it's been the last 24 months. And some of it's justifiable. They're building up to Alpha 2. They got a lot of stress. They're working towards things. It's understandable, but I think it's more than fine to point it out. I watched Asmon. He trolled for 40 minutes. He's just farming. I mean, you can look at it that way. You can look at it that way. But as content creators, there are a lot of people that believe this. And so we just have to point it out. Because when I do a video tomorrow, over under, I will get 3 Star Citizen jokes. I will absolutely get 3 Star Citizen jokes in my video tomorrow. It's going to happen. So, people watch these, and we'll get to the Dick Eater comment. This will go in line with this, but yes, yeah, I like your opinions. Thank you, Annie. I don't know. I'm here now, and I think it'll stick around. I do have a few questions I want to ask. Oh, absolutely. We'll get to that here.
Inflation is high. We're low on money. We're charging $120 for the alpha. It is what it is. We're going to try to get some people in through a lottery system as well. But if you want to bypass it, you've got the key. If they just did that, like this should have been a 2-minute segment, and people, it's like a take it or leave it type situation. Yeah,
I can do them one better. Just reopen the old bundles. If there's something that why they couldn't open the old bundles, just be like, hey, we're opening the old packs. It's the exact same thought that he's saying. We don't have to have a lottery. We don't have to do anything. Just open up the old bundles that used to exist. We don't have this price controversy. We don't have any of these other issues happening. Just open that up.
You ripped the fucking Band-Aid off. And the more that you...
Am I a fan of Star Citizen? So I've gotten so many Star Citizen jokes, I didn't know what it was. And I went and looked at it. And I will eventually try the free-to-play weekend. I don't like their monetization process, but once again, it's the free market economy at work. If people want to pay $40,000 for a ship, then go right ahead and pay $40,000 for a ship, or however much they are. I'm just literally dating myself by how much I know about Star Citizen. I have a few friends that play it, but my perspective is I feel like that game is never coming out, and so part of me doesn't want to pay for it. I'll try the free to play stuff. I think they're just making money hand over fist right now, and why would you change anything? And so part of me like loves the ambition of the project, and like the graphics look great, and like what they're trying to do looks really cool. I just don't think it ever gets realized. And so my perspective is cool, but is it ever actually going to become a game? And yeah. If you open the exact same package, you have an even bigger problem. What? Why would, okay, real quick, Vertec, why would opening the old bundles cause the same issue that existed at the time? Oh, are you talking about because they closed? Because they closed and everybody's saying that because they closed. Okay, I think I get your point. Yes. Okay. Yes. I do agree with that, Vertec. Okay. You're right. See, this is part of the reason why I'm doing the live stream. I can back off and I can say I'm wrong. Okay. I see your point. Those exact same cosmetics. Yes. I do agree with that. I do agree that some people look at the bundles as closing as like a final thing, but I don't see why they couldn't do more cosmetics and release new bundles. But I do get that point. Yeah, I didn't actually think about that again. I still think that you would still get less issues with the old bundles and new cosmetics than you would with the new keys. But I could be wrong. I very well could be wrong. Chris Roberts, thanks for funding his retirement, the $700 million meme. Yeah, I can see that. That's a good point. Thank you, Andy. Thank you for stopping in. Okay, I'm gonna walk back the bundle talk. We're just gonna pretend I never said bundles, because that's a very good point that I didn't think about. I was just thinking about like the issue that I think a lot of the stuff revolved around was the price relative to the other bundles, and how you could eliminate that is just reincorporating the old bundles. I didn't think about the original cosmetics. I at no point was I thinking about going and doing the old cosmetics all over again, though. I was just like, yeah, just do new cosmetics and keep the same bundles, and then there's no complaint about the price point. It's the way it's always been. That was my belief, but we're just going to say that never happened, and we're just going to continue on.
Try to talk around people doing this and anything like that. And here's the problem, is that when you try to make sense out of something that doesn't make sense to somebody, they're going to act like you're insulting their intelligence.
Absolutely.
And that's going to make them mad because you're pretending like they're stupid. You see what I'm saying? You got to be immediately direct with people.
I agree. I completely agree.
That's
why I'm always so direct with you guys.
And I've tried, like, and I remember I had a time, so do y'all remember whenever I used to tweet that I was going to miss a stream, and it might have been the smartest thing she ever fucking said. So, and I know Steven is a great salesman, right? Like, he theoretical stuff like this, right?
We're skipping.
Like, better build the Fomo as much as possible. Those that didn't know about it still find an upgrade. Like, I mean, people are still upset about this. No, like, some people say it's totally fine. Bad PR. Steven's a smart guy. I've talked to Steven before. I think
features and systems that we'd also like to, right, for the beginning, it's going to be very much like Steven said. You're
like the animals like running away from you, and you're just like, it's like dying, obviously, but you're just like not shooting it. It's just like happening. Like, bro, like the longer you...
analogy.
And so I know the next section that we have is
it's like bro, like this reminds me of like you know, like you're like hunting an animal and like the animal's like running away from you, and you're just like it's like dying, obviously, but you're just like not shooting it. It's just like happening. Like, bro, like the longer you let this go on, the worse it gets. Like, it's the fastest thing. I like the team, but this is indefensible. No, it's like
AMA. And
Yes.
before we get into the AMA,
Yeah,
I want to close by saying this.
Okay.
For the deck.
All right. So Asmongold's point is Steven should have just asked the community to pledge 40 million for further development of the game. Yeah. I get his point. I get that he believes that you should be upfront and honest about the price point and everything. I think the price point, it very well could have been that they meant to incorporate the betas. They very specifically said that that wasn't going to be the case during the live stream, and they incorporated them later. Either way, either they weren't going to incorporate it and they did later in hindsight. Regardless, no harm, no foul. It all happened before the keys go live. I think these are good changes, but other things also happened. Should cover their terrible AMA. Yeah.
Everybody is going to like PvP. There is a very eclectic crowd of MMORPG players, and we are not building an MMO for everyone. And we know that, and we accept that, and that's a truth. There is a specific section of the market share that is going to be interested in Ashes of Creation. When those
Surgeon General, new chats, welcome in. Appreciate you guys. Yeah, the people that already paid. Yeah, that's my bad.
Those people who are not interested
and you can see people, you see the chat.
One of those things comes into our community and says things that may ruffle your feathers.
Mm-hmm.
I would implore you to continue the upstanding tradition that our community has had over the course of these last several years and be polite. Give them the proper advice and direction when it comes to how we as other human beings who live behind a screen should interact with each other. Right? We are one community. We're a gaming community.
And you could get them to change their mind too, right?
No, yeah.
That is the biggest thing.
Yeah,
like they could become part of our community if they just understood like where we're coming from too.
Well, that speaks to being a good representative. And again, what I would say is we are one gaming community. We are all gamers together. We have different interests, and that's okay. And we have different thoughts, and some of us can be more abrasive than others, and that's okay too. But what I would
see, what's funny is about the whole dick eaters comment, right? Like Asmongold is very clearly being constructive, and this entire point that Steven and Margaret are making, this entire point that, hey, let's be nice to people outside of this community, let's explain the situation, let's talk about what's going on, is literally like if we go back and we do what Asmongold's doing, and let's read the chat, but let's just read some of what the chat's saying down here. He's defending greed. Now he's preaching, be a decent person and give us your money, loser.
And that speaks to being
where was it? This is disgusting. This is disgusting.
Representative. And
fellow gamers, give me your money. Don't you guys have phones?
Again, what I would say is we are one game.
Wearing colored contacts fake? Like, really?
Gaming community. We are all
where's the one I saw?
Together. We have different interests.
Stop talking.
And that's okay.
She ruined it.
And we have different.
She cut him off. She
thoughts,
ruined it.
And some of us could.
Like, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Best viewers. Sorry, I got to ban a bot real quick. There we go. All right, we are done. Yeah, the Asmon rant is great. We're gonna get into that. But this point that Steven's making is we are, like, as a community, regardless of whatever gaming communities you're in, you're always going to get negative feedback from people. Always. Now, it comes down to whether or not it's constructive criticism, whether or not it's warranted, whatever. And I'm trying to showcase that this entire idea that Alpha 2 should be free, that's not a thing. That's not a thing that will happen with Ashes. You can take it or leave it, but that I don't think that's something that the community wants. That, at least how I've put my thumb on the pulse with the community already. People don't want that. And so people that want a free alpha, okay, well, wait for the betas. Wait for the game to come out. That's okay. He looks so tired. Yeah, I noticed that during the last live stream. And they say it at the end of the MMA. They say it at the end of the AMA that they're under crunch and they've been working like extra hours to get Alpha 2 ready. I think Steven's been putting in very long hours. And so I think the entire team's been putting in very long hours trying to get Alpha 2 ready. And like they mentioned it during the AMA as well. And so, yeah, I noticed it last month. And you never want to tell somebody they're tired. Like, hey man, you look tired. Like obviously if you say that to like your wife, like she may punch you in the face. She may smother you in your sleep with a pillow. Like these are things you do not say to your significant other. These are not something that I try to say to anybody. But yes, he does look tired. Right before this, his his PC blew up, so he rushed to the studio. Oh, he had eye surgery. Okay.
Can be more abrasive than others, and that's okay too.
Okay, that's fair.
But what I would
he
ask
does look
of our
tired to me. Like
and
it
content
looks like
creators,
just...
help me hit this home too.
Guys, this is how I look. This is how I looked when I had twin newborns and I was getting like 3 to 4 hours of sleep a night. Like that was how I just connected it to myself. I'm like, yeah, that man is not sleeping at all.
Is that we are inviting of other opinions, we are inviting of other thoughts, and that we don't pounce, we don't attack, and we don't mistreat. We follow that golden rule, and we can be good stewards of this community and good representatives, like Margaret said. And by doing so, we will attract more users to this game. So please, I would tell you, as my fellow gamers, let us represent the best of us.
Yeah, if he had just said that's way better. He should have started with that. That would have been way better.
So Asmongold compliments this, and everybody else here has been, you guys were reading chat. I don't have to go back and look at this. You guys can read down here. You'd be like, scam, negative. Asmongold said something positive. Let's see what the chat says.
Right, much better communication. I think it's pretty obvious to see why people are pretty upset about what he said and everything. I think it definitely makes sense. Much better statement. Yeah, it is. And so anyway, what do I think about this? What's my perspective on it? My personal opinion on this whole thing is that I think it's not really a surprise that a lot of people are angry about this. And I think it makes sense too. It really does. Like, the reason why it makes sense is that it's very clear that they are capitalizing on FOMO because they're charging different prices for the different wave tiers. You see what I'm saying? Third wave, second wave. Why is the third wave less than the first wave? Well, it's because of FOMO. That's the reason why. So if they had just come out and said, like, listen, like, we need to make some money, this is the way it is, etc., and just plan that out, then I think it would have been fine. But I think that going and like trying to explain about like how it's actually a good value for people, it's really not a very good value proposition to say that. And that's why it's better to just focus on the support aspect instead. So check the loads of bootlickers in the comments. So many gamers have completely lost their standards. What they do charge for money is something they used to pay someone to do. Yep, there you go. It's insane. Nobody should be defending this. I actually don't think it's a big deal. I really don't. Here's what I think they should do. I think they should also do a lottery system. Because right now, like, so the problem is that
So here's the thing. Asmongold did this whole thing, just kind of talked about his point of view, doesn't believe that charging for an Alpha 2 is a big deal. So like all this got a bunch of hype for him 27 minutes in and 56 seconds to say this isn't a big deal to charge for an Alpha. So like it's just kind of funny like how this is blown up in Discords and everything. And it goes to show how much sometimes people just don't watch videos, right? Like, oh man, Asmongold shit all over Ashes. Asmongold shit all over Ashes. He definitely did some of that. He absolutely did. But it's just kind of funny. Like you get to this overarching point and you're like, he did not. Is it not clear that the waves are open? Yeah, we'll get into that too. We'll finish this. We'll talk about that and then we'll dive into the next
feeling is
stuff.
that the only way that you can get in is by paying money. But if you have a lottery system, you can keep people hopeful for the fact that more people can get into the beta, and you can use that lottery system as a backfilling device to offset the problem that Steven was talking about with people like the cohort issue, where like when a player base declines, it declines because it declines and it becomes a vicious cycle, right? So I actually think that they could leverage this in a way that would be beneficial. And they could also say that if you're a really big supporter and you want to be in on day one and, you know, you want to pay a bit extra money, listen, money's tight, inflation's fucking everybody, you know, probably not just like that, but, you know, it's a lot of money to make this game. And so, yeah, we're offering a package for you to join on day one if you want to pay for it, but we also have a lottery, right? Yep. That's it. Lottery system. Yep, that's the old Mr. Beast method, right? And sell merch with it. Yeah, maybe is going to be the next big MMO, and it's the thing that they're really excited about. And into the idea that Asses of Creation is going to be the next big MMO, and it's the thing that they're really excited about. And I have not been some intrepid apologist. These prices are fine. There's no reason why they are or are not fine. Yes. This price,
I do agree with that.
You're not buying a full, like, what is the logic here? How, like, where is the, they're fine, according to what? Like, if somebody, like, Assassin's Creed got shit on for selling a game that had a $120 version, you can buy Assassin's Creed for, like, $70 or $60 or something like that, right? So, that's a full game. So, what's the logic and the anchoring here that selling the ability to not even really fully play, but instead just simply test a game for a premium that is higher than the, or sorry, for a baseline that is higher than the premium for other AAA games that are fully released is, right? Like, I don't understand how this is, like, the prices are fine. I fucking hate it. It makes me so fucking
It's a good rant.
Everything, it's just a video game. There's no reason to get mad. It's just a game.
This is my perspective. Like, Ubisoft, EA, all these other games that exist, even Star Citizen that we talked about before. If people want to pay into Star Citizen and they're having fun playing and they want to drop $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, $10,000 into Star Citizen, go right ahead. Like, if that's what you want to do with your money, that's my belief. You should be inclined to. So the belief that prices are fine literally applies to anything at any price. The prices are fine for somebody relative to the value that they think they're getting out of it. So I could sit here and I could be like, hey guys, I have this phone charger here. I'm going to sell it to you for $100,000. By the way, it was touched by Taylor Swift. Now, I'm not saying any of you guys are going to buy it, but maybe somebody is going to look at that and they're going to be like, really? $100,000? That price sounds fine to me. Like, I know that's like the worst analogy possible, but the point is people probably looked at, I know people that I talked to in Discord, that I've talked to in chat, they looked at the $120 price point and they were like, this price point's fine. I want to get an alpha 2. I want to test this. I'm very excited to test this. And if you want to, if you're willing to invest $120 in alpha 2 to pay for it, okay. Like, that's the value you feel that what you've seen on live streams is worth $120. I personally, I thought it was a little much. And so if I wasn't in the situation that I'm in, I probably wouldn't have done it myself. I think that's fine too. And so the idea on prices being fine or not fine or good or bad or whatever, I think I look at it, and my entire discussion on this live stream is it has to be close to what the other bundles were relatively. Like, if you're going to charge this for other people, it has to be close to the same. And so that's where I've come from. Values in the eye of the beholder. Exactly. You're buying 3 keys on Wednesday. But yeah, this next rant is very good.
But I fucking hate when people go and they say that this is a good value for your fucking money. No, it's not. You're buying data. You're buying a digital item. They've decided that it's worth this much. The exclusivity is artificial.
So
they could give it to every single individual in the entire fucking game. Not with this specifically because of server issues, but I'm talking about other microtransactions. Oh, buying a new character on Honkai Star Rail is a good deal? Why is it a good fucking deal? Who decided that? Oh, that's right. Hoyoverse decided that. It's a good deal for a fucking anime character.
Oh, Theory Forge with 29 people for the raid. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much. Yeah, I wanted to pause real quick to get to what Pocket said, but even if it's only 2 years, that's $360 of a WoW sub for an Alpha 2. Exactly. Another example, for those of you guys who don't know, Blue Squadron did a bunch of videos. He's a Black Desert BDO player, and he has done multiple videos talking about buying in, spending $250 for an Alpha 2. He's talked about how Ashes is a scam. Like, he's going to try it, but Ashes is very scummy in the amount of money that they give away. The thing is, though, he was paid to do an advertisement by BDO this year, and he came out and said in the video, if you guys want proof, I can pull receipts later. In that video, he talked about the pay to win for BDO, and he straight face stared into the camera. Let's imagine I have a camera here and I'm staring straight at you guys, okay? I'm handsome in this entire situation, okay? I'm definitely not a bridge troll. He stared into the camera and he said the BDO price for pay to win for about 1 hour's worth of grinding is $30 US. So he said, this man sat here and said, in order to grind BDO for an hour is worth $30. So I'm sitting here and the guy is ranting and raving about $250. And I didn't comment, but I was just like, man, I really want to just be like, okay, so one day, 8 hours worth of BDO is worth 1 Alpha 2 key or 1 Alpha 2 bundle. And that's what you're complaining about. That's all the videos. And he was doing it for reaction. That's why I didn't do this. But the point is people are willing to play BDO. And they're willing to play a game where they feel like the monetary value for an hour's worth of grinding is $30 an hour, but they don't want to spend $250 on an Alpha 2 bundle. Do you see how warped that is? Because he's valuing BDO at $30+ an hour or more, and that's okay. That's what he's valuing it at. He's like, hey, I'm getting way more out of this than I normally am. I'm okay playing this because I'm getting more fun out of it than this price point. But he's not okay with that for Alpha 2 because there's nothing tangible. And that's okay. That's his own decision. That's his own price point. But it's just kind of funny when people bitch about the price and then they play a game like fucking BDO that has pay to win. And then they have a video that says, yeah, it's $30 an hour. Yes, welcome in, Theory Forge. Kalen, welcome in, welcome in. Good to see you guys. Yeah, sorry, we are just talking about all the things that happened this weekend. We're talking about all the fun stuff that happened this weekend. We're going through it in more or less order. Legendary Neurotoxin, how'd you guys' stream go? Phantom X, what's going on? Thank you for the sub, Phantom. Appreciate it. You guys are awesome. I hope you guys had a good live stream. It honestly shocked me how much people were baby raging. $120 for roughly 2 years of the playing in the Alpha 2 is insane value. Yeah, when you look at it for the amount of years that you get, yeah, I could see that point. All right, let's keep going.
Character to be $80? Suck my fucking dick. Are you kidding me?
I'm sorry.
Get the fuck out of here.
I forgot.
Why is this a good deal? Who decided this? In what parameter is this a good deal? How do you define a good deal? Where's the anchoring for your price value? How do you define the value of $1? Because I'll tell you, no matter however the fuck you define it, other than saying I'm a fucking idiot with money and I don't know how it works, any single fucking way is going to tell you that buying a microtransaction in a video game is never fucking fine. The prices are never reasonable. And
1 second. We're going to read off chat here for a little bit. How many times do we spend $60 on a shit AAA that sucks, Anthem, Forsaken, Starfield, etc., or a AAA that you beat and toss to the wayside in less than a few days? Exactly, Kalen. Like that's my perspective on this. Everybody's purchasing opinions are fine. Okay, I'm not here to judge you guys. If you guys have spent $1,000, $2,000 on a pay-to-win game that you really enjoyed, I'm not going to shame you for it, and I'm not going to say that it's bad or whatever. It's your money. You're inclined to pay whatever you want on your entertainment. From my perspective, mine aligns with yours, Kaylin. I have spent I have bought so many $60 games to where I've gotten maybe $10, 10 hours, 15 hours, 20 hours worth of gameplay out of. And after a while, I just decided to not buy them right away. I'm like, hey, I'm going to wait until Starfield comes out. If it has good reviews, I'll play it. If it doesn't have good reviews, I'll never play it. Guess what? I never played Starfield because it was dog shit. And that entire viewpoint has stopped me from buying so many AAA games. So many AAA games, just wait and see. And I would rather invest personally in a game that's developing the way Ashes is, because I know what I'm like with the development, with their open development. I like what I'm seeing, and I would rather spend money on this than on some game, some AAA game, because they just all keep failing. Outside of Elden Ring, of course. Like that's basically the only one. How do the people that paid $150 for beta 1 access feel now? I don't know. It's actually great value now because of the changes. I think the value now is a lot more in line with the other bundles. And I agree with the value of the bundles now. I think the way I've always viewed it is fairness for all the bundles. As long as the bundles are closely priced, I'm cool with it. And I think they're closely priced from the previous ones to the ones now. All right, scrolling through chat. I'm paying $400 in TV subscription just to watch football. Oh my God, tell me about it. Tell me about it. All right, let's keep going.
And I know the games have to make the fucking money, and I get it. But don't ever go and fucking tell me the price is fine. This is the same reason why I said I didn't give a fuck if they were selling skins for $500 or $5, because it's all garbage and it isn't worth shit to begin with, because it's nothing. It's just pixels and coding that adds no value, and it's nothing. The entire problem, the exclusivity, the structure of the game that enforces the exclusivity, the entire DNA of the universe that it exists inside of is created and crafted initially and intentionally to add value to this with the purpose of making money. There is no reason why this is worth a bunch of money. There's no reason why a skin should be $5 instead of $500. Where's the parameter here? I want to see the parabola of value. Are we looking at a logarithmic function? Is it exponential? Because it certainly feels like it's fucking exponential, even though I've got a feeling it's a lot more like it's a logarithmic. It's fucking annoying to me. I'm losing my goddamn fucking mind at these professional dick eaters that are figuring out reasons for why the shit they're eating tastes like chocolate. I'm losing my fucking mind. How does this keep happening? I think this is a good point where we're going to shift over to drinking water instead of soda for the stream. Professional dick eaters.
Here's the part I was trying to get to.
It's not a good value. It's all fake. They've tricked you into believing a lie and living inside of a box that they built to make money. And you're complaining that the edges, you can halfway stretch your legs inside of the little box that they put you in. Stop doing that. I publish games that have microtransactions. We do that because we want to fund the game. That's the reason.
Yep. Wow, chat is going off. Holy cow, guys. Guess I can relate. I can get mad at Guild Wars 2 for not picking up what made Guild Wars 1 great. It was just disappointing. And Guild Wars 2 is no sub, right? Box cost. I think so, yeah. I've never played it. Asmon, who normally has some decent critical thinking takes, is way off on this one. I'm surprised he doesn't see the value in alpha that will last 2 years, but considering he never really keeps up with AOC and prefers to watch a random YouTube video and compressing the dev updates, I'm not surprised. Yeah. Well, and some of his points I've agreed with. I disagree with quite a few, and I think his premise on a lot of these are off. And because of the core premise being off, the entire video, in my opinion, is off. But this rant's pretty funny. And I just wanted to add on to it.
People want to buy them, they can buy them. If not, then they don't. It's that simple. The runaround is what I get fucking annoyed by. PoE. I have spent $1,000 in Path of Exile, and I don't regret a single cent. How?
Oh, man, bad takes.
Hard work, dedication, and 10 years. I'm getting fucking tired of it, boys. I'm getting tired of these dick eaters. And I'll tell you how it happens. It's grooming. It's these little kids that get conditioned into becoming dick eaters because they didn't grow up in the golden age of being able to buy a video game and beat it. Elden Ring used to be the norm. You would buy Legend of Zelda, Link to the Past, and you would just be able to beat the game. And that was it. You would buy Sonic 3, and you could play all the way through Sonic 3 and kill Dr. Robotnik, and it was no big fucking deal.
HD,
Elden
what's going
Ring
on?
and Baldur's Gate 3 used to be the norm. Not in terms of quality, but in terms of delivery.
1 second, we'll pause this. Kalen says, the cost to run the amount of servers, keep in mind one realm has many servers, plus the cost of bandwidth is insane for this. 2 to 3 years worth, Intrepid will be losing money in all reality. That's the other thing too. Like, the initial bundles always started off with, hey, we're going to give you Alpha 1, Alpha 2, whatever. You're also helping us support the game. And I think this is an often overlooked situation for why the bundles initially existed and why they keep having the bundles. And I think this is a point that needs to keep being reiterated. The bundle is also there. Whether they say it's fully funded or not, the bundles initially started as funding for the game. And so they may say, you know, we're fully funding and everything. We may want to do this. At some point, like, we're going to break the glass here. Steven's going to want to, like, get his money back that he put in, as he should. And so the entire thought process that we can't charge for stuff anymore because the game is fully funded is just silly. Like, in my opinion, it's just silly. Like, you want to make sure that the player base is getting a fair price point relative to where it initially started. And so they've decided to keep adopting the same price point from where the Kickstarter started at, where the bundles initially started at. And so I think it's silly to just like you see people, like, I watched the Burns video today, and you have other people, that content creators that have recently bought in, and they're like, yeah, you know, I wouldn't have bought in. Like, if I was just going to get Alpha 2, I would have just paid for Alpha 2. I wouldn't have paid the $250 box cost bundle, which is fine. But the $250 bundle also started, like, when I purchased, my entire point was, hey, I'm helping fund the game. Like, that was another point that was adding. Does that mean that it's better? Does that mean that it's better value or anything like that? No, of course not. Like, this is the price that was initially set for way back when. This is just, it's just, we lose sight of the fact that why these kind of existed. And so, yes, the cost to run bandwidth wise for these servers is going to be a while. Like, it's going to be expensive to keep these things up and running to try to get a game out and get a game live. And so, to ignore the monetary aspect of running a company with 200 developers to work on getting a game out in time to have the bandwidth for everything, to me, it's silly. And the point that I agreed with Asmongold on this is Steven being upfront and honest, like, hey, you're helping this, like, whether or not it's fully funded, like, hey, you're supporting the game. Like, I think just being honest about that is important. I think Alpha 2 will last through 2025. I think betas will launch 2026. I think they'll launch 2026 as well. What's going on, HD? Hope you're doing well. Else knows I don't think it's worth it, but I can see why most of you do. I just haven't seen enough to actual gameplay to make an informed decision on whether it's a game I want to play. Absolutely. And I totally get it. And I have never disagreed. Like, everybody's opinion on what they value is different. I grew up in the golden age. I played games on VIC-20 and it was no big deal. He can justify $1,000, but not $120 for 2 years. Well, he did say earlier in this video that he doesn't think it's a big deal. He doesn't think that the price point is a big deal. He just wishes that Intrepid was more upfront and honest about what they're talking about. And his point is like, his belief is that he believes that Intrepid's trying to get money. And, like, just be honest, like, hey, guys, we need money for funding. That's not what Intrepid has said. So I'm not saying that's what I believe. I don't know, but that's where he's coming from. He's like, yeah, I don't care if you're going to charge $120 for a key. Just be upfront and honest about it. That was his perspective. Extra funding's never bad. Exactly. I threw something in VOV General that could be controversial. Okay, I'll check that out in a minute. The bundles gave Intrepid $35 million, and Steven has spent $60 million of his own money. He mentioned the development up to this point was $95 million. Subscription costs should help cover the servers and give Steven his $60 million back. Yeah, no, I do agree with that too. I do agree with that. I have hot takes for betas and live release. All right, well, let's finish this up.
Chrono Trigger, Secret of Mana, Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask, The Wind Waker, Pikmin.
We have
Super Mario Sunshine.
We have an old man reminiscing about games. As an old man as well, I can relate.
How do we let this happen? I'm losing my fucking mind. Metal Gear Solid 3.
Yeah, I don't even respond to the scam stuff. So you're saying Steven scammed us out of 35 million so he could lose 60 million? Yeah. Like, I don't need to go into this with you guys, but I'm going to anyways. But every time I see a scam comment on my YouTube, like, I haven't responded to a single one because it's so stupid. Like, in all seriousness, like calling Ashes of Creation a scam, in my opinion, at this point in time, is really fucking stupid. Like, and the reason behind it is if you were trying, like, let's all pretend we're scammers, okay, guys? We have 62 people in chat, okay? Let's put on our thinking caps here and let's constructively come up with the best scam video game possible. Now, if you were making a scam game, would you hire 200 developers and then pay them like on average 6 figures a year in California? Or would you like exist in like Turkey or Azerbaijan or some like smaller country where the cost isn't up and you could like, you and a couple friends could basically like pawn off Unreal Engine 5 assets? Which one would you do? Right? Like you would do the second one. Would you showcase on a live stream every month what you're developing and open things up for criticism? Would you do this if you're trying to scam people out of millions of dollars? Why would you do that when you can just make 5 to 10 of the sickest, most ridiculous hype trailers you could imagine, where you don't have to post gameplay? You can just have cool characters doing really cool shit for like 30 minutes and people are like, oh man, this Chrono Odyssey looks fucking dope. Like, and I'm not trying to shit on Chrono Odyssey, but that's all that exists right now. That's all that exists is trailers for Chrono Odyssey. And so if I was making a scam game, I would do the second thing where I would only have a few developers. I would then go the Chrono Odyssey current route where you have like 4 or 5 hype videos with no gameplay. Their gameplay's coming down the road. I'm not trying to say that they're a scam. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying where it is right now. That's what I would do. I would not do open development. And I sure as hell, if I was trying to scam people, I wouldn't invest millions of dollars of my own money to attempt to try and pay it back. Like, none of this makes any sense. None of this makes sense. And so every time I see a scam comment, I just look at it and I'm like, okay, you don't have an opinion that's worth even commenting on. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. Now, is Ashes of Creation going to succeed? Is it going to be a good game? Those things we do not know. Those things are the unknown. But calling it a scam is just so stupid. It's so stupid. I would spend $5,000 on Unreal Engine 5 assets and make a 20-minute video. I'm going into business with you. You know exactly what you're talking about. Exactly. Like, if we were making a scam, that's exactly what we do. I am not saying that we should all work together to make a scam. I'm just, we're just think tanking it. Like, if we wanted to make the most money possible, how do we go about doing it? Well, that's how we would do it. Thank you for the bits, Tana. Appreciate it. Yeah, it's just also it's so dumb. And I see it all the time. Like my video yesterday literally had scam comments. My video the day before had scam comments, and I'm going to have more scam comments, and I'm not going to respond to any of them because I don't have to. I don't have to. Like, people can make whatever comments they want. It's not going to bother me. Wow, started the hype train. Holy cow. Thank you guys. All right, let's keep going. Yeah, does this mean that like Ashes of Creation is going to win Game of the Year? Does it mean it's going to be a great game or anything like that? I have no idea. We don't know what the outcome of the game is, but I can pretty confidently say right now it's not going to be a scam. But it's not currently a scam. Holy cow. Just more and more bits. Thank you guys. Thank you. All right, let's continue this. You guys are way too kind.
And you have these kids now that are brought up on these phone games. And they think that $2.99 is a good deal to take the ankle weights off of their ankles that the game developer put on them. People have been so conditioned into living with these fucking shackles that they think that they're a part of life. And those of us that remember when they weren't,
wow,
are becoming smaller and smaller in terms of our influence and our authority and our population. We're getting too old to care, or we're starting a family and we work a management company at a
so fucking depressing. Like,
at a workshop, right? Or a warehouse.
Are you guys dueling with bits right now?
I'm not thinking about how much money a video game is, right? So it's like we're getting burned from both ends. And it's so sad. You know what's so sad to me about this is that a lot of these guys, they're our age. Oh,
sorry. Did they mention the phase which will have the second archetype that influences the first you choose? Yes, phase 3. Yeah, correct. Phase 3, that's when they plan on rolling it out. So May 2025 at the earliest. All right, let's keep going.
They don't have
We're
any
almost done here, guys. We'll move on to more fun stuff.
If there's some 16-year-old kid that's been conditioned to become a dick eater by these companies ever since he was a little kid, buying microtransactions on Clash of Clans, then I can acknowledge that and I can say, you know what? You didn't deserve this. This is just what they did to you. But if you are a 31-year-old man and you are defending this, you are being a dick eater. And it makes me so fucking... Are you memeing? No, I'm not. I'm not memeing. And I have no problem with the price, but don't you even for a fucking second insult my intelligence and tell me the price is fine. This is an overpriced product. Say it, be direct, and be honest. That's all I ask. That's all I want. I just want intellectual honesty. Because I feel like we live in a society of liars. And if I keep going, I'm going to sound like the fucking Joker. So I'm going to stop. Is being a dick eater okay? Yes, if you want to be a dick eater, it's okay. But don't ever tell me it's a lollipop. What are you going to do? No need to be an activist for things you can't change? I'm not listening.
Okay, so there's a lot to unpack there. Number one, like he basically was just like, yeah, everybody that's saying that this is okay. You guys, there's so many other spending habits that can be okay. Guess what? Asmongold spending $1,000 admittedly on PoE is okay. You know why? Because he values that money and he was getting value out of it with PoE. People that want to invest into Alpha 2, have we realized that like what we think our value is going to be? No, absolutely not. No, we haven't gotten there yet. So but I don't know who this Srixon guy is. He very well may be in Alpha 1. He may very well already be in testing right now. I don't know. I have no idea. But the point is I don't care what people spend on games. I don't care. And so this entire nostalgic belief on what games used to be, like, games are as valuable as the players that put money into it. Just like any other good that exists. Games are as valuable as that. Now we can talk about monetary, like gotcha, like casino style things and whether that's predatory. Like, is it okay to have like loot boxes that have a 0.1% drop rate? I don't think so. I don't think so, personally. Like that's my bridge too far, I guess. But if people want to spend like $1,000 on $2,000, $5,000 on like in-game cosmetics, I don't care. Like that. Like some people are worth a lot of money, and $5,000 is a drop in the hat to them. It is a drop in the hat. That's nice as all to count. Bit Monster, thank you so much, guys. I think AOC's biggest competition is going to be games like ESO, and we'll see. Thank you for the super chat, Penumbra. Dick eat the Asmongold. Asmongold spending $2 on a steak is not okay. Yeah, well, and that's I was actually going to use that in my video. But yeah, it's just all so silly. Like spending. There's nothing wrong with Asmongold saying he spent $1,000 on PoE. Yes, he's playing it. Yes, he's getting value out of it. That's fine. There's plenty of people that think with what they've seen, with what Intrepid has shown, that they're going to get, $120 worth of value out of Alpha 2 over a couple of years. I don't see the difference. You want to say it's an overpriced asset? Okay, like that's relative to what? Like you clearly don't value this in the same way other people do, which is fine. That's okay. But yeah. Oh my God, you guys keep going with the bits. Yeah, thank you guys. But yeah, this entire thing, the dick eating comment was funny. Like people just agreeing and going on with what Ashes of Creation says and being like, oh yeah, it's fine. Obviously, I say it as yes men. Other people call it dick eaters, like whatever. But the thing is it is really funny for Asmongold to say this to his community. And I don't mean this in a bad way. I'm not saying every single one is just, slobbing on the knob or anything like that. But I just want to explain this perspective. Every time a big content creator, as a YouTuber, not a very successful one, not a very big one or anything like that. As a YouTuber, I watch a lot of other YouTube content creators. I watch a lot of them. I often watch a lot of the same videos you guys do. And so when I make a video, I can't tell you how many times I have gotten a word for word verbatim joke from an Asmongold or another big streamer posted word for word on my video. And it's like, dude, I saw the exact same video you did. I know exactly where you got this, but instead of using your own brain to come up with your own joke, you're just regurgitating the thing that your favorite streamer said. And so it's not just Asmongold, of course. It's like most big streamers, anytime they comment and cover a game, like I'm sure a bunch of other smaller YouTube content creators, they see it plastered over their comments all the time. It happens all of the time. And it's just kind of funny. Like, it's just like, okay, yes, I can agree. Like a bunch of yes men, that's not something I have ever been. That's not something I will ever be. This channel, I always try to explain my point of view. Whether you guys agree or disagree with me, I don't care. Okay? Like I don't care if you guys are all in chat like saying, yes, I agree with you. I don't care if you guys disagree. I'm going to tell you my point of view. I'm going to tell you my side. I'm going to tell you where I'm at. And if you guys disagree and you bring up different points to where you change my mind, then you change my mind and I go, okay, you're right. Like Vertec earlier brought up a very good point that I wasn't thinking about. And although I thought I was making a great point, I ended up not doing so. I ended up shitting the bed, and I just had to roll over and take it and say, yeah, Vertec, you're right. You're absolutely right. I'm wrong here. And that's what I do. I try to be transparent in what I believe. I'm not going to sit here. I'm not going to sugarcoat things. I think some things are good. I think some things are bad, and we go from there. And this is Else doesn't care about us. No, I just believe in being honest. I do care about you guys. That's why I wanted to have a live stream. I just care about my honesty. And even if you guys disagree with me, I still want to explain my point. And as it's always been on my channel, whether you agree or disagree with me, it doesn't matter. It's like, okay, you disagree, it's cool. Like we'll move on. It's cool. Like I don't mind. I just like to explain my point. Let me back read chat. Now this is Allie. What's going on? But yeah, it's like the Dick Eater comment was funny, and I had a good laugh about it. But yeah, the same thing applies to content. The same thing applies to streamers, like huge streamers in their community, because they go in, they'll watch a streamer, and then they want to regurgitate everything said big streamer says, and that's what they do. And it's like, yeah, like if we want to apply this to video games and followers of video games, we can apply it to content creators. Like there's so many different groups of people that this applies to. Okay, so we are done with the Asmongold thing. Let's move on to the next part. So we have talked about, I think we've talked pretty in depth about like all the other, oh, there's one thing we haven't covered yet. Okay, 1 second. 1 second. So I saw this. Sawman sent this to me today, and he sent it to me in light mode. And I don't know why he does this. I think it's a British thing where he likes light mode. I have no idea. But regardless, Force Gaming made a post today. And so this is Force Gaming's post. And he wrote, this Ashes of Creation stuff is a bit nutty. Charging $100+ for alpha access, and that price doesn't include the actual game, i.e. you still have to purchase at release. Literally paying to be QA testers. It's clearly a we need more funding move. Now, not all this is wrong. Not all this I necessarily disagree with, but then he goes on to say, the question is, why is that funding not coming via traditional means, loans or investors? Can they not find people willing to invest in the project? Is it to maintain autonomy? Either way, charging people $100 for access and not including the game is pretty shit. When I read this, I want to be clear. I like Force Gaming. I actually follow a lot of his stuff to look at games and potentially see like his updates on games coming out this month. I follow to see if there's anything that I might want to play. And so I actually use Force Gaming as a resource. This completely misses the mark. Like when I read this, I just kind of rolled my eyes because it's like, does he not realize that this game's it's not a box cost game. And so this entire literally paying to be QA testers and you still have to purchase the game at release. You're not purchasing the game at release. You're purchasing a monthly subscription. And then he goes on to say, charging people $100 and not including the game. There is no box cost for this game. And so this is what I'm trying to say. Like when you see some complaints from people, very reputable people, there is so much going on in this space with all these different intricacies. You have to take it with a grain of salt. You are always going to have to pay a monthly subscription for Ashes of Creation. That was always going to be the case. Anybody that is invested into Alpha 2 in this chat knows this. We all know that this is something that we are going to have to do. Like, hey, I'm going to pay for Alpha 2. I get Alpha 2 and the betas and all this. And then if I enjoy the game, I'm still going to have to pay the monthly membership. We've all known this. And so this entire like tweet just doesn't make any sense. It makes zero sense. And so, yeah. Imagine being a gamer and sounding like an adult. It's weird hearing on stream. I suppose the scariest thing I would like to see in the Renkai Homeland. Okay. The game is included. True. It also doesn't have a publisher. Steven is self-publishing. Exactly. Yeah. Like this, I saw a bunch of people comment in Discord, and like, I like to hear and go through like the criticisms. And so far we have a price point too high for Ashes, which, you know, if some people believe that, that's fine. But some people will always believe it's too high. And now we have a purchasing the alpha without getting a box cost price, which is nonsensical. Like these two things are these are non-issues in my opinion. And I'm not trying to like toss to the side like, oh, I disagree with this because I disagree with it, it's a non-issue. Like this was never a thing. And just like doing a free Alpha 2 is never a thing, this is also never a thing. And so I like Force Gaming. I like a lot of his content, but he just doesn't know that. And if he did, I don't know if he would post this in this way. So once again, like that's just something I briefly wanted to bring up before we dive into stuff. I think we got through, after 2 hours, I think we got through all the other complaints from other content creators in the space. It's time to get to mine, right? I think it's time to get to mine. So how about we take a brief 2-minute recess? You guys can go use the bathroom. You can powder your nose. You can do whatever. And then we'll come back and then we'll dive into that. How does that sound? Let me catch up on chat real quick. Clearly Force has not been following this for 3 years. Yeah, and that's fine. It's more than okay. It's just like I saw like it's comments like that where it's like you just chime in and you're like, hey man, like it's a membership or it's a monthly subscription. Like that's always was going to be the case. If there's no box cost, that needs to be more upfront because I didn't know that. Not that it changes anything. Well, that's a great point. Yeah, I guess that should be more upfront. I think it's because the game's so far out that they don't really advertise that. But yeah, it's not going to be a box cost. It's a $15 monthly subscription fee. This is a game you are deeply into and on top of. You know what's going on with it. Someone like me who is not and only knows about it peripherally will not know what to do or really be interested in knowing that. Yeah, exactly. No, Tana's bringing up a great point here. This is a great point. And this is what Steven said in his live stream as well, is we need to educate people on where it's at. Because I'm guessing somebody, not you, Tana, somebody like you probably could have seen some of these other videos and you jump to a conclusion like, wow, you're really going to charge $120 for just the alpha, and then we had to pay $60 for a box cost? That's ridiculous. But when you break down like what you're getting and all these other things, it's at least, I'm not saying you agree with it because you clearly don't. You haven't bought into Alpha 2, and that's fine. Like I'm not going to tell you should, but at least it makes more sense, right? Can you link that Force tweet or just give his X handle? I follow him on YouTube and I want to add him on. Yes, let me 1 second here. So his is Force Strategy. Watching me, Summit, and Nice do all the heavy lifting for me. That's fair. No, and that's okay. Like that's what I've told people. Like you don't have to purchase the game. You don't have to follow us in depth. Like when we get further on into the game, I'm going to provide my feedback. Like my goal with my channel is to provide feedback to you guys. For those of you guys that are following the alpha that you're playing, cool, we get to play together. It'll be awesome. But those of you guys that aren't purchasing in the alpha, you can watch. And if you don't like it, then you watch something else. That's cool, right? Like you're just like, okay, I'm getting a lot of information from live streams. There's no ADA. There's nothing hidden from me. Like I can just say, I don't like this. I'm not interested in this. And I can move on with my day. I think that's great. I think that process is very good. So yeah, I am going to refill my drink and then I'll come back and we'll talk about, I guess, my grievances or harumphs with what has happened this weekend. Okay, so I'll be back in like 2 minutes. Okay. Quick, someone swat this dude. Kayla, thank you for the follow. Tana, thank you for the bits. I appreciate all of the bits. I appreciate all of the new subscribers, the new follows. Thank you so much, everybody. It is awesome. Let's, now that we've addressed all the content creator beefs and all the big things that have happened in the space, let's talk about other things that have happened that have not gained traction that I think are more important than what we have seen so far. I do not like the way the messaging has been for basically the last 2 months. If we're being completely honest, as somebody that has followed this game for a while, I will say July and August messaging has not been good relative to what they've done in the past for the last 2 years. I must take the lead. Holy cow. So yeah, so my perspective on this is this. In July, they made the announcement for the June live stream that the July live stream was going to be the Alpha 2 announcement, right? They said that they were going to have an Alpha 2 announcement. It will be in, it's still going to be in Q3. We waited until Alpha 2, we waited until the July announcement, and then they said that they're going to miss the mark and it is going to be in October. Now, the problem with this is I'm fine with it being delayed. Like if we're being honest, like upfront and honest, I don't care if it's delayed in October. I don't care if they have to delay it again in November. I don't care if they delayed it in December. That's where I'm at. Like that was just a goal that they're hoping to aim for. If they miss their goal, that's on them. Like I'll just play other games until this comes out. Same thing with New World. Like I want to play the new free for all thing. I'm not going to play New World until the new free-for-all thing is. I'm not going to sit here and bitch and moan and complain about where New World is at. Like, I'll joke about it, of course, because it's funny. But I'm not going to be like, oh, man, I wish I was playing this right now. It's not out yet. And it's the same way I feel about Ashes Alpha 2. It's not out yet. And so if they have to delay, that's fine. But the messaging behind... In June, they're like, yeah, we're going to give you a Q3 announcement in July. And then basically 4 weeks later, they're like, we're going to miss the mark for Q3. And then 2 weeks after that, they're like, we're going to give you the date and it'll be in October. And then 2 weeks later, the date is October 25th. Like one of the last weeks in October. It's like, okay, you probably knew a little bit sooner that you were going to miss the mark. And I think they could have been a little bit more upfront about this. And maybe they have good reasons to say otherwise. Like I'm not a developer. This is just my opinion from the outside looking in. All of that has been very weird for me to see like how this has been going down. And then the concurrent alpha, like it being a concurrent alpha and starting at 3 days instead of it being a full 7. I'm not trying to say this as like, I got my Alpha 2, I want this. But we've been led to believe for a while now that Alpha 2 was going to be concurrent from day 1 when it went live. That's the way it was always kind of played off to be. Now, personally, if the first 2 months is only 3 days, I don't care if Alpha 2 is pushed into next year. Like I'm probably in the minority on this, but I would have liked to know, like I would have liked to hear a little bit more. Like this entire messaging has not been very good. And then we go from having the Alpha 2 keys open with the price they are, and then the message on Reddit that says the Alpha 2 keys are now, like we misspoke during the live stream. Instead of it just being Alpha 2, it is now Alpha 2, Beta 1, Beta 2, and a 1 month subscription. Like that those changes, it's like that's a big change, right? And it just... I'm not saying it's malicious. I'm not going to come from that perspective and say, oh, they're lying to us, because I don't know. Like I've seen what they've done for the last 4 years. I'm not just going to jump out and say this. But what I will say is that is a big thing to miss. Like when you're making an announcement talking about Alpha 2 keys and you're talking about what's in these bundles and what you're getting out of these prices, missing that you're getting Beta 1, Beta 2, and a 1 month subscription is a very big thing to miss. And so whether you want to say like the most, like I look at it on a scale, right? The most extreme is they weren't telling the truth, right? The other extreme is they've been very stressed and they weren't very good with their communicating. Either way, it's not good. Like either one, whichever side you land on this, it's not a good look. It's not a good look to the community where you're trying to get people in, you're trying to talk to them, you're trying to showcase what the game is about, you're trying to showcase what Alpha 2 is about. The wish-washing is not good. And then Steven playing damage control in the last couple of days, I appreciate it. I appreciate him making a Reddit post. I appreciate him going on to Asmongold's channel and making a comment, but then he didn't line up that also. And so I posted on my video today, but talking about how long Alpha 2 is going to last, he was like, Alpha 2 is going to last a year, at least a year. And then in the next one, he said, yeah, Alpha 2 is going to last a year. And you look at it and it's like that little bit of verbiage coming from explaining for people looking for information on how much they're going to want to invest in the game. It doesn't look good. Okay. And so I like Intrepid a lot. I like their team. I like their honesty. I like their openness. I like that they listen to feedback. And my feedback is the communication the last couple months has not been very good. And I know they're strained, and I know they're under the time crunch of everything that they've been doing trying to get Alpha 2 to go live. I just hope this doesn't continue is all I'm trying to say. And so that's where I'm at. And I think this is a way bigger deal. I think this is way more important than talking about what Alpha 2 box cost should be. Like that's my opinion. And I'm not just saying that, like, obviously I'm self-centered, guys, and I'm in my own head like that. That's why this is more important. No, but in all seriousness, communication to me is the most important thing. This is the most important thing. It's the most important thing in relationships. It's the most important thing in sports. It's the most important thing in video games. And it's the most important thing I think a development team can have for their player base. And if your communication is off, you're just going to confuse people. And that, I think a lot of what has happened this weekend has come from that confusion, in my opinion. Thank you, Tana. You take care. You have a good night. You're going to be a spell sword? Nice. All right, let me check chat here. Holy cow, a lot happened. I just realized I went on a huge rant. Else is getting bit bombed while he's AFK. Yeah. What they could have done is refunded everybody their Alpha 2 key cost and implemented their $15 a month subscription for Alpha 2 and maybe just give PI and A. Yeah, they could do that too. I mean, that's a lot of money, but yeah, I get that. Lady even said it won't give beta in the live stream. Exactly. Margaret said that if they want to open up beta later on down the road, that they may open up beta keys. And so that's where the confusion was. It's like, okay, if these were in your box, in the original box cost, like there was confusion down the road. Like whatever the final product was, it didn't make it to Margaret, right? And so whether they changed it after the live stream or they did it before, either way, it's still before like the sales happen. So it's not too big of a deal, but the confusion there is not good. Like I think that the live stream presentation, the information just wasn't concrete, obviously. Like in hindsight, what they gave us like had a lot of errors to it. And my Discord has been posting updates to a bunch of the cards that they've been posting during on the site. So the thing that we read earlier, I'm sorry, the AMA, like the Alpha 2 overview, they're constantly editing their phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. And so they still haven't gotten it right. And so when you look at that, it's just bad communication. It just doesn't look good. That's all. I think the closed PI testing with the network caused the delay to October. Giving away beta 1 and beta 2 was them backstepping or listening to feedback, however you want to look at it. Yeah, I agree with that. He stated phase 3 will last a year, so 2 to 3 years. He did state that at one point, Kalen. And then he also said Alpha 2 will last a year. And that was like, okay, so Alpha 2 from October or Alpha 2 from May. And that was the confusion. And so then he had to go and he went, I think somebody said on the Asmongold video, he went and re-edited his thing to post phase 3. And so it was just it was still a misspeak. It was just a misspeak. I write stuff wrong all the time. I'm not trying to like nobody here is perfect. I'm definitely not perfect. I'm just saying like there was a little bit of confusion there. Like people, I was confused. Other people, like we just didn't understand what was coming from. Like which one is it, right? And so it's just when they did the AMA, it seems pretty clear to me that like they just weren't all on the same page as a team. And so when they relayed the information, all the information wasn't on the same page. That's my perspective. Time for Intrepid to renovate their communication. It's nice to have a monthly live stream, but it seems like there is misstatement every 30 days and they need to slow down and clean it up. Yeah, the last couple months have not been good. That's my perspective on it. But yeah, like when you look at what the live stream or what the Alpha 2 currently is, we get the full concurrent alpha in May. May of next year is when we get full concurrent Alpha 2. If they delayed into Alpha 2 and they said, hey guys, like we can't take players in, like we're delaying you to May, I know other people would be upset. It's just a goal that they were trying to accomplish. If they missed, I would have been fine with it. That's my perspective. Like, hey, you take all the time you need. I want to play a polished game. You thought it was going to take this amount of time. Projects go bad all the time. Not go bad. Go bad is the wrong verbiage. Projects take more time than you expect all of the time. And so that's where I'm just like, okay, cool. I'll play other games. It's not a big deal. And so like that's my perspective. So for some people that believe that, you know, maybe they're doing that as like a stress test for the server and Alpha 2 really is in May, I get it. I just, there could have been better communication. People who can't afford the key should just watch and see. It's only a test that will be wiped and not matter. Launch will be $15 a month. Exactly. At least we get to see a dragon next month for live stream raid. I am excited. I am actually excited for the dragon live stream raid. I'm not gonna lie. but yeah, I hope that they can take this constructive criticism from the community. I think they do a good job of that in general. And I have been a part of communities in the past where if you try to constructively criticize a game, they just blacklist you. And they're like, okay, well, now you don't get anything. Like we're not going to, it's not that they give stuff to streamers and content creators, but like if you speak poorly on the game, like it's just like, yeah, you don't exist to us anymore at all. And it's just kind of funny how some teams work. And it's like, guys, I didn't even say you were shit. I like your game. I'm playing your game. Like, it's just, this is bad, right? For me, it looked quite bad that they announced an AMA and then they rushed through it because they'll be late for a pretest. Like, no, you announced this, then stay here and go through it. Well, that's the other thing too, Keith. Like, I hope I said your name right. That's the other thing too, is the AMA was such a small portion of the actual live stream. And I don't want to get too much into verbiage for what the title was. That wasn't really an AMA. Like, yes, they did answer some questions at the end after going through like everything else that they did. They didn't really go through community feedback. They did give us an outline for what Alpha 2 was going to be. And I know it was going to take time. And I know all that happened. I totally get that perspective. But did they answer more questions than they do on a normal live stream? I would say no. Right? Like, it wasn't like the AMA we had a few months ago where they sat and answer questions the whole time. It was very similar to what a normal live stream is with questions. And most of the questions were nothing new from what they already presented. And so I would listen to them and I was like, why did this make it through? Like, you already talked about this. Why are you answering this question again? That's why it was weird to me. Sounded like they were going to charge a separate charge and then they decided, my bad, for beta 1 and beta 2. Yeah, I think so too. I'm missing so much. Holy cow. Look at the AOC website. It currently states under Alpha 2 phases, Alpha 2 phase 3, expected to last at least a year. This, of course, subject to change to active development. Yeah. Alice is taking longer than 2 minutes. Rage, rage, rage. Oh, whoops. Am I not in here? We could all be rolling Raid Shadow Legends to MMO. That's good stuff. To be honest, the roadmap was a bigger deal to me. The AMA is all on the website now. Yeah, no, the roadmap was a bigger deal. I do agree. And how they did it was important. But like it just was highlighted like an AMA, and then we really didn't get an AMA, if that makes sense. So that's my perspective on it. But yeah, I thought the content cadence for Alpha 2 was really exciting. I thought overall, like if we go, I don't know if I want to post we do polls in the Ashes of Creation, our Ashes of Creation. Okay. I'm going to post this for you guys. 1 second. Go to the display capture. Rate the AMA. I have not voted yet because I had to think about it. If it wasn't, this is just right after the AMA. Okay. Right after the AMA, my thoughts before they changed a bunch of things. I would have said that the live stream was like a 7. My opinion. And so I'm going to vote and we'll see what everybody else said. So look at the views on this live stream. Like we do have 20% at a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But what a lot of people are in the 7 and 8 range. Like half of the community is here in the 7-8 range, 52%. A lot of people are down here. Like a lot of people were very polarized. I'm just voting so you guys could see it. But the thing is the live stream itself wasn't very poorly received. Like it wasn't like at least according to our very biased Discord where we talk and have these polls, it wasn't horribly received by most people. Some people didn't like it at all, obviously. I'm not going to announce their names or anything, but I probably shouldn't have scrolled over that. Regardless, the point is it didn't seem like too bad of a live stream. And yeah, everything that happened afterwards made it worse. They can call it whatever they want, like Steve calling it 64 classes. Well, we'll see if it's 64 classes. We will see. I have high hopes. High hopes. What did... Oh my goodness. Yeah, chat's going off. Okay. I'm not sure what you said in there, Arctic. I am not sure. Where's the thing? There's only 25 votes. This is a very serious subsect of voting, Maddie Quinn. Okay. 25 votes is a perfect amount of sampling. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. No, I do agree with you. Like anybody that takes statistics, if they saw me really judging a 25 vote poll, I get it. But like I like to view the Discord for feedback and stuff. And it feels like a lot of the feedback from this weekend really kicked up yesterday and today. You sent it here on Twitch? Did you send me a message on what? Okay. Where's the thing? I don't know what you guys are talking about. But yeah, I hope going forward, like I'm hoping we get a sweet Dragon live stream. I hope it's a tough thing, right? Like they made the promise last year. Oh, I already covered it. Got it. Okay. It's one of those things where it's like I just hope it goes back to the communication goes back to where it was before. Oh, meant the poll. Oh, it's in our Ashes of Creation Discord. 1 second, I'll provide the link. I can provide the link if you guys want to come join. I'll post it here. But yeah, it's our Ashes of Creation Voices of Vera Discord. I think even knowing that they changed the whole, if you buy the Alpha 2 key, you don't get the access to the beta. That was very damaging to the reputation. Yeah. Okay. So here's my perspective. That is a very interesting topic. Trying to figure out the best way to say this. So I go with my opinion. Like everything I do is based off of more of like a Bayesian process. Like everything that I do, I take into account things. I try not to jump to conclusions off of any one thing, but everything is a flag, and it leads me to change my opinions based off of the information that I was given. And so in this specific example, 3-4 months ago, as I've watched live streams, and I haven't been participating for 7-8 years, I haven't seen every single live stream. I've been of the belief that Intrepid has been very straightforward, very upfront, very good at communication. But the last 2 months have changed my opinion a little bit. Not a complete 180, not saying, oh my God, they're now the worst people ever or anything like that. But now there's just that little bit of doubt, right? And so it's one of those things where it's like, okay, this is now just a flag to keep an eye on in the future, in my opinion. It could be this. Like, it could be damaging that they initially started this way. It could be. It very well could be a miscommunication. I don't know which one it is. And so with these gray areas, I just wait until I get more finalized information, if that makes sense. And if they, mess up down the road with a very clear, like, hey, you did this, then that's when I would jump to that point of view. I'm not saying you're wrong or anything like that. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion. That's how I look at things. I don't look at things in absolutes. I look at things on probabilities. And my probabilities definitely got adjusted off of what's happened the last couple months. If they said they were moving to live streams every quarter, I'd be cool with it for sure. Every 30 days seems like a chore to them. Yeah, well, especially with Alpha 2 coming up, like they're trying to get everything online and they're also showcasing other stuff they're working on. Like it would make sense, like, hey, we're getting ready for Alpha 2, we're gonna wait. But at the same time, like you open up a whole another can of worms with other people, right? That are like, hey, why are you hiding stuff from us? You've had this content cadence for a while. So I think they're damned if they do, damned if they don't sort of situation there. I can definitely see both. When the game is testable, we wouldn't miss them as much. Yeah, I do agree with that also. Like, I'm of the opinion that I think they're awesome. Like, I'm going to keep saying this. Nothing from my core belief in Intrepid has changed. Like, nothing. Like, when you're in a long distance, like, let's say it this way, okay? I'm going to provide this is going to be the most perfect analogy you guys have ever heard. Anytime you're in a relationship with somebody, like a good relationship, whether it's long-term relationship with a best friend or a significant other, not everything is going to be perfect all the time. Okay? Not everything is going to be absolutely perfect. Sometimes you're going to have fights. Sometimes you're going to mess up. Sometimes they're going to mess up. And it's okay to have a discussion about those things, and everything turns out fine. And if you can do that with your wife or your best friend or whatever, you should be able to do that with a game that you're looking forward to. And so I am very excited about Alpha 2. I am very, very excited about Alpha 2. But even though I'm excited about Alpha 2, I can still say, hey, like this communication's been not very good. And if you want to bring in more players, if you want to bring in more players for Alpha 2 for testing, if you want to bring in more players to get the proper testers that you want to advance this game to make the best game possible, this does need to be cleaned up and it does need to be better, in my opinion. So it's cuddle time. Yes. That's what I'm trying to say. So I think everything that they have done has shown that they are open to constructive criticism. Even this weekend, even the changing of the prices this weekend has shown that they're open to constructive criticism. I'm not going to make one of those videos where like, it's like, oh, they've gone back against their word. Is it time to realize Ashes of Crit, like the big YouTube gotcha stuff? I don't think any of that holds like long-term value. I think none of that. I think all that is just nonsense videos personally, unless it's actually the case. Right. And so if you have like a actual tangible stuff, cool. But currently with this one, it's like, yeah, communication's been bad. They're clearly behind on things. I wish they were more upfront that they were behind on things. I wish that they didn't have to clarify what the bundles were multiple times. But yeah, that's where I'm at. I donated to Ashes back in 2022 to support their vision primarily. I walked away from their live stream the other day feeling a bit crappy for the first time I ever remember with their streams. Yeah, I get that point of view. I totally get that point of view. I woke up this morning and I already posted the drumstick earlier, but I was very excited to go to the Renaissance Festival this morning. And so I went with my kids. We had a good time and I read Discord, which is always a mistake. Do not wake up and read Discord. Okay. Do not do that. So I read Discord and I saw all the stuff that was happening while I was asleep. While I was asleep, this stuff was happening. And yeah, I wanted to quick push out a video like, hey guys, I hate getting wrong information on my videos. I used to do this in ESO where if I posted a video and the information was wrong and somebody called it out in chat, I would take down the video. And I've never had to do that for an Ashes video until this weekend with the Alpha 2 keys. And it's not a big deal. Like I had to delete a video. It's not a big deal, right? But it was just one of those like, wow, this is something I've never had to do this for this game because they've always been so good with communication. They've always been so good with this, but this time they missed. Sell your journalism integrity for money. You did read Discord? Oh no. Yeah, you don't do that. Don't read Discord in the morning. Do not do that. But yeah, what are your guys' thoughts? I told you mine. I am an open book, just like the Bard here. I am an open book, just like the Bard running the book. What are your guys' thoughts? What are your guys' thoughts on the live stream? Anything you agree with, disagree with? Like, this is an open conversation. If Intrepid ever sees this, it would be good to hear feedback. Like, I think this is good things to have constructive criticism, in my opinion. What do I plan on playing? So I will be playing the New World free-for-all. I know that a lot of people's beliefs on New World. I have not touched New World in a while for good reason. But the free-for-all zone is just like that's my type of thing. Like that's just my type of thing. I will definitely be trying that. I already paid for it with last year's DLC. I don't have to pay for it again. I'll be trying that out. I'll be trying out Throne and Liberty as well. That's free to play. I don't know how long I'll get into it. Like I don't know what the US pay to win is going to be like, but if I don't plan on paying anything for that game at all, and so I'll play it for as long as I enjoy it. Maybe I'll get a couple weeks at it. We'll see, but it's free to try and see what they've changed. So I'll be doing that. I have to finish Baldur's Gate 3, so I have to finish my playthrough on that, and so I'll do that as well. And then if I'm still stuck for games, I haven't touched Guild Wars 2 yet, and I've also purchased BDO a while back. And so I could always try those in the meantime. And so I do have quite a few games that I can try and play, but that's kind of where I'm sitting right now. I would much rather play Alpha 2 for Ashes of Creation, But if it's going to be down and like I can't get time in it, then I'll play something else when I have free time. I have Alpha 2 access for 3 years. I think the keys are fairly priced to someone who paid $375 for the package. That's fair. I think many things playing ESO at all. Okay, so I read the patch notes for ESO 3-4 weeks ago. Probably 4 weeks ago now. I really liked them. I thought the patch notes for ESO were very good, and I was considering coming back. But the thing that pushed me away from ESO was the performance. I don't care too much about the proc sets. I don't care too much about a bunch of other things. If the game doesn't work, I don't want to play it. And every time I would watch like a friend's live stream, they were always complaining about lag. And so it very well could be just anecdotal, but every time like I was like, hey, I'm gonna go see what everybody's running. I want to see what I'm coming across. Like I was interested in testing stuff. Like I don't watch ESO streams unless I'm interested in playing ESO. And so as I'm watching ESO streams, people are complaining about performance and how skills aren't working and how things aren't firing, and they would have had it if the lag didn't work, if the lag wasn't happening. And I'm like, I just don't want to go back to that yet. And so although I do like the changes, the core issue with ESO for me still remains the same, is it just doesn't work very well. And so that's where I'm at. But I'm all ears for their new PvP zone in Q4. Like if Q4 their PvP zone sounds fun, I will definitely hop on some ESO. Do you play PoE? I do not. I like PvP games a little bit more. I do play PvE occasionally, but I think I just get more replayability off of PvP games. I just enjoy being able to match me and my shitty gaming tendencies against somebody else and their shitty gaming tendencies. So I like to do that a little bit more. But I have a few friends that play PoE and love it. I've considered it, but it just seems like a steep thing to get into initially. Cyberpunk, sure. Guild Wars 1 is better than Guild Wars 2. I have WoW in between Alpha 2 weekends. I considered hopping into WoW also. I have a friend that plays WoW a lot, and he offered me to use his account to try it, and he'd walk me through how to play. I've never played World of Warcraft before, and he told me, like, he's like, yeah, if you want to play, he's like, I can walk you, like, we can spend like 2, 3, 4 hours, and I can show you how to play the game. I can show you how to do things. I can get you through that initial hurdle to try it out. And I was like, I may take you up on that. So yeah, so I have a lot of backlog games that I need to try. My guild has 180 players with access to Alpha 2, so we are going to go and test. Awesome. That's a lot of people. I also got a $375 package. I had zero issue with whatever price point Intrepid picked for those keys. Can't wait for October 25th, even if it's a stuck download or sitting in a queue. Yeah. Mine was $250. I am very excited for October 25th. Very excited. I had 2 legendary weapons in Guild Wars 1. Oh, the memories. Been getting into Valorant, so I've got that when Alpha 2 is down. Awesome. Yeah, I never got into Valorant. I did play a little bit of, what's the other one? What's the one that Blizzard does? Why am I forgetting it? I don't play much for shooters anymore. Bought a beta 1 key. That key is now effed over by the new Alpha 2 keys. That said, I've upgraded to an Alpha 2 package and already will buy 3 more Alpha 2 keys on Wednesday. I thought it was fine without all the extras. Yeah, that's fair. You buying them for friends, Penumbra? Then Guild Wars 2 is kind of an anti-MMO, only horizontal scaling, no gear ups, obsolescence. Big words today. Nice. It just gets wider in scope. Graphics are awful. You think Guild Wars 2 graphics are awful? I thought they were good, but I haven't played. Like, I've only seen clips. Did you play in the alpha test for PAX Day? I did. I played in the 2 before they made it purchasable. I played the free ones. I played some Valorant and immediately went back to Counter-Strike. For his multi-boxing account. Oh boy. That's funny. What else is there to talk about here? let's see. Let's check some of my comments over here. I don't think there's anything. Never played CSGO, so Valorant is a huge game knowledge learning curve, but the community is pretty good. I've heard that, actually. I've heard the Valorant community is good. I thought, like, I played a little bit of CSGO, like, way back in the day, and I've always enjoyed shooters like that. I've never gotten super serious into, like, hyper-competitive shooters like that. I've enjoyed them, but I've never been like, oh my God, I'm going to try and grind rank. I'm going to try and do this. I'm going to try and, move up to the next level. It sounds fun. I was watching some of Jinxie's Rainbow Six Siege. Like, the fact that he revived an old game like that is so fucking cool. And like his clip, like, I don't know how I stumbled across Jinxie. Like, we're not anywhere near the same age bracket or anything. I don't play shooters anymore, but I stumbled across one of his like Rainbow Six Siege videos, and I was like, okay, this looks kind of cool. This looks kind of cool. Like, I kind of want to play some Rainbow Six. I got 12-year-olds giving me aim advice. It's hilarious. That's awesome. You think Guild War 2 skills, weapons, combat is awful? Okay. All right. So, since I'm talking to the MMORPG community, if I were to choose my next MMORPG while waiting for Alpha 2, what should it be? I'm going to ask you guys. And when you tell me, I'm going to absolutely judge you based off of the MMORPG that you choose. Absolutely, 100%. But I can't judge you too harshly because I said I was going to play New World in October. And you guys can't beat that. You can't beat that. I think it's rough for a while to use third-party plugin to support. Just wondering how will AOC sets or armor bonus work, or will everyone be stats? I don't know, Sando. I'm not sure. They haven't talked about sets that I know of yet. I'm very interested in seeing what that is in Alpha 2. WoW Classic, and it's not even close. I would play WoW just so you can understand it. You said you hadn't touched it. I've never touched World of Warcraft, no. If I was going to play World of Warcraft, I was going to play the hardcore. I wanted to just jump straight into World of Warcraft, like the hardcore version. If I played that. Or BDO or Guild Wars 2. Just stay on ESO, old man. Doesn't work well enough, man. It just doesn't work well enough. If it worked better, I absolutely would. Like, I would still be playing ESO if it worked better. It's a good game. Like, I talk a lot about it, but it all comes down to performance, and just the performance isn't there. Hate the modern game, and I am so jaded, but classic still brings me joy. Okay. Hardcore will be rough on a new player. That's okay. New World makes me feel like a beaten wife. I shouldn't be laughing at that, but I get it. I get it. I don't know, man. Like my perspective on New World is there is a lot that's not good. Like there is a lot of the combat that doesn't feel good. Like the range to melee interaction isn't very fun. I thought a lot of their balancing changes were good. I thought a lot of the I haven't played in a year, so like some of my information may be dated. I thought there was a lot of stuff that needed to be adjusted, but there was enough there to where it was like, okay, with the right team, with the right direction, this could go somewhere. That was my belief last year when they introduced artifacts and everything. The game was a lot of fun. It was a lot of I had more fun I had as much fun last fall playing New World as I have playing any game in a while. Like in a while. It was a lot of fun. And then they basically abandoned it for introducing their console rollout, which I totally get. I'm not trying to be jaded or anything, but it's one of those things where it's like, okay, if they could bring that back, what happens, right? Like, I'm not saying there's a high chance that it could be good, but the other part of me was like, God, last fall for me was fun. Last fall was fun. And so if this free-for-all zone is as good as I think it is, and you're going to have a bunch of console players playing on a server, and I don't know, it sounds like I could have a lot of fun with it. Can't wait for the console players to get dumpster punched in October. Exactly. I miss ESO because of Cyrodiil, but the game is just feeling too dated for me these days. Can't get myself to go back there. Yeah, I waited a long time. I didn't take any breaks from that game. I played ESO for like 8 straight years. 7 straight, something like that. I played straight. I never took a break from the game. I went through like all the issues that they had, and instead of taking a break like a normal person, I just played because I enjoyed it so much. And I reached a breaking point, and I haven't gotten past that yet. It just doesn't feel good to play. It doesn't feel good often enough to play. Never looked at anything WoW related again. Prefer Warcraft 3 RTS anyhow. Ooh, some RTS, nice. You played the beta for ESO? Nice. Okay, so you guys are recommending World of Warcraft Classic or Hardcore? Okay. And you're saying Guild Wars 2 is not good. Okay. Well, yeah. Hopefully we can just enjoy the alpha. Hopefully there's not a ton of downtime, but I think that won't happen until December. Played ESO for 8 years too. Took a few months to break for BDO, but went straight away. Left for New World and just never went back, even though New World was anything but good. Yeah, the combat had its moments, in my opinion. Played WoW off and on since 2006. Fair. That is fair. If you do hardcore streams, stream it so we can laugh at deaths. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. But yeah, nobody's gonna hear this. So Nice and I have been talking about. So we've said this before, and so I just want to clear the air on this. When the game goes live, we don't currently know how big our guild is going to be. Like if we're going to make a guild, if we're going to join a guild, we have no idea what the guild bonuses are. So we don't know what that entails, right? And so that's our perspective on things. We're just like, okay, well, like when the game goes live, we don't want to say, yeah, we're going to have a 40-person guild and it's only fun with 10 people. Like that wouldn't be fair to 30 people at a time, right? Like they wouldn't have any fun. Like I'm part of this guild, but I'm not participating in the guild, right? So we don't want to do that. We want to do what's right for everybody. And so we talked about that, and then we talked about Alpha 2. And the thing is with Alpha 2 is we're going to be testing so much. We're going to be doing so much testing. We might need players. We might need other stuff to test things. And we thought it'd be a good opportunity to just group up for Alpha 2. Like if you guys want to, nothing official yet. We haven't finalized anything or anything like that. But the idea we're tossing around now is making a guild specifically for Alpha 2. Making a guild where everybody that participates in Voice of Era, you can join, you can come chat, you come hang out, you can participate in a guild. If we need 20 people or something, like we'll do that. Doesn't matter. We're all testing and everything, and then we'll figure out what we need when the game goes live. And so that's kind of how we're looking at it. And max guild size at Alpha 2 start is 50. Exactly. And so I just don't want to, like, I don't want to screw people over on guild size stuff. And so, like, I don't want to tell a bunch of people, like, yeah, we're going to do this. And then all of a sudden, you guys aren't having fun. Like, I don't want to do that to anybody. I don't want to do it to myself also. So that's how I'm looking at it. But yeah, Galwood says it's hard to make any concrete plans until guild perks become available and more content is unlocked. Exactly. Exactly. But at least with Alpha 2, like we can just test. We can figure stuff out. It's not serious. Like we can fuck around and yeah, we're looking at going that route. And then we can get Voice of Vera, like the same way you guys provide feedback during our podcasts. We can group up and mess around during Alpha 2, and it'll be a good time. And then once we figure out what the bonuses and perks are, then we can potentially finalize like, hey, do we want to run a guild or are we going to join a guild? And then go from there. Also try Valheim. Valheim is amazing. I've seen that. I haven't played it. But yeah, I have seen that. I've seen a lot of people talk about how good it is. I've been playing chess. I play a little bit of chess on the side. I've been doing that since COVID times. Like shut in got me locked on a chess, like a lot of people. I do that. I play Risk occasionally, and I still have to finish Elden Ring. So I have some thinking games that require no dexterity, and then I have Elden Ring, which requires a lot of dexterity and patience. So it's kind of funny. I applied to Pirate Gaming's Guild over a week ago and haven't heard back since. He's got so many people, man. He's got so many people in that guild. It's crazy. Might play Alpha 2 on several realms. There will be plenty of time. It's hard to make plans even for a single player. Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly where I'm at. I'm like, you know, if we need to go do a dungeon and we need 20 people, like having access to people would be cool. Like it'd be really cool to know that we have access to people in a guild. It's not gonna be, I don't know how serious we're gonna get for Alpha 2. It's not like we're gonna grind and we're gonna be the sweatiest Alpha 2 group. Like we're testing shit. Like I want to test mechanics. I want to test all these sorts of things. Isn't Risk free on Steam or am I crazy? Yes, it is. Yes, I used to play a lot of Risk as a kid. Like a lot of Risk with friends. That was my nerdy board game I used to play as a kid. And so when I saw it was on Steam, I'm like, I have to get this. I have to get this. During one of, I didn't play it super seriously, but yeah, I somehow made it to the rank of master. I was just under Grandmaster title for Risk. And then part of me has been like, you know, do I grind one of these seasons to see if I can just randomly pick up in like Grandmaster Risk? It'd be kind of fun. One of the last boss of Elden Ring, F the Elden Beast. The Elden Beast fight was so freaking sick, dude. Like I loved that fight. I died so many times during the Elden Beast fight because it was so cool to watch that I was enthralled by what was happening. And then I was like, oh yeah, I'm playing a game, not watching a cinematic. Like I died at least twice doing that. And I said it out loud as I was doing it. Need to go to bed. Wish you all a good night. Also make an alliance with KLC will probably help you out, I think, or maybe burn the next town over down. All right, sounds good. You have a good night, me and Nikoi. Bit of a 50-50. Sure. Well, yeah, thanks for hanging out, guys. I think we'll end this stream here. I'll try to get a video out tomorrow kind of discussing a lot of what we discussed tonight. Let's go see if there's anybody to raid. We're getting late tonight. I appreciate all the raids from the other channels. You guys should go check them out. Theory Forge, Chaos and Lace. Who's the other one? And Pockets. Pockets did. I don't think anybody else is streaming Ashes of Creation right now. No. Yeah, thanks for hanging out, guys. This was a lot of fun. I hope you guys enjoyed it. We'll do more in the future. Hopefully things, as we get into Alpha 2, I will be doing more and more live streams. I know I'm not doing too many right now, but when we have like a lot more to talk about with Alpha 2 and testing and everything, I will be doing a lot more. I will be doing a lot more live streams. So I'm looking forward to it. Going into the server with the best ping and just see what's with whoever there I decide to be. Sure. Yep, I get that. You guys have a good night. You guys take care. We will do Voices of Vera, I'm pretty sure, on Tuesday like normal. If not, we'll provide an update in Discord and on YouTube if you guys want to check that out. But yeah, I'm gonna end this live stream here. Hope you guys had fun. Take care.